Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it.
This new Old Spice shaver is so amazing it'll shave off every hair on your face.
Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon
Say goodbye to this nasty beard.
Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes.
Oh, Old Spice body spray makes you smell like power. It's so powerful it sells itself in other people's commercials. You smell like outdoor freshness.
You smell like
bacon pancakes.
All right, this is the Three Ninjas podcast. It's anime analysis by African Americans, comic book commentary by coloreds, movie reviews for me and you, your mama, and your cousin too. As usual, I go by the name of Domino, aka Full Metal Smacker Bitch, aka Wound Raider.
Ay, papi, I like it rough.
Oh, you do it, huh? Good, cause that's how you're gonna get it.
AKA the Bulbasaur Ambassador, AKA Charmeleon Use Cotton Spore, AKA Clark Kente Cloth, Dreddy Kruger, Optimus Rhyme, Ghost in a Half Shell, Oscar the Gooch, Space Ghost Face Killer, Inspector Deku, G.I. Jimbo.
G.I. Jimbo, he's gonna destroy everybody for you and you and you and you.
Akuma Matata, Mansa Mufasa, Tony's little friend, Frank Castlevania, Master Chief Keef, Barry Flanders,
Idly honey.
We must protect this house.
Ninja Scroll and Chill, and R2D2 Chains. And as always, I am joined by
Hess Jones, aka the Full Metal Alcoholic. I gotta have a beer. AKA A Bay Blade, aka Abba Uzi, Bernie Big Mac.
What the fuck was that?
Tenchi Negro, the Afro Samurai, Black Black Sword, Splash, Mace Wind Do-Rag.
You know what I got underneath this do-rag?
What you got on the do-rag?
Another do-rag.
The North End Naruto, G-Gun the Munich, Ash Killer Can't Catch Him, the Debbie Cake Destroyer, Ashbaka, Black Raven, Jason Mosa,
and also the motherfucking dojo.
I go by the name of Bobby, aka Darth Hater, aka the Man of Skill, aka the Juggernaut.
Yeah, it's the Juggernaut, bitch.
Aka Professor Sex, Mag Negro, Bizarre Rondo, Super Saiyan Brohan, Piccolo Escobar, Bruce Maine, Clout Stripe, Melanin Manson, Samurai Black, Michael, get the strap son, Red Jacket. Campaign Poppy, Bobby McFly.
What's wrong, McFly? Chicken?
Nicholas Gage, Bastard Troy.
I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am the number 90 sunblock that will stop your burn. I am
Darkwing.
Oh man, my ninjas.
You
had a little mini vacation.
Yeah.
Took a week off.
Yeah.
I don't hear no complaining from you niggas.
Facts.
We gave you 52 episodes. That's 52 weeks of content that y'all niggas don't pay for.
Facts.
All right.
And it's because our engineer went on vacation.
Yeah.
Not because I was in rehab.
Somebody said that?
Nah, but niggas was like, oh, no episode this week. Oh, go check out Hesh. No, fuck y'all niggas. And I was at home eating tacos, my own goddamn business. They ain't had nothing to do with me.
They thought we was going to your funeral?
Yeah, like fucking, I wasn't in rehab. I wasn't motherfucking in the psych ward or nothing. I was at home chilling. It had nothing to do with me. G wanted to go spend time with his family, make memories and shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but shout out to G. You know, sometimes you need that little reset. But yeah, we gave y'all all that content. Y'all ain't paid not a net nutter of that shit, so we deserve a break. You know, it wasn't intentional. Hopefully, that's the first time we missed the episode in like
ever.
So, you know, it is what it is. But my ninjas.
Mm-hmm.
How y'all doing?
Pretty good.
What's going on with you, Hesh? How's your weekend been?
Pretty good. I didn't really do a whole lot. I went to Dave & Buster's on Friday, and that's really about it.
That shit lit, right?
It was fun. It was cool. Well, we just drank and shit. We just chilled, had some drinks, and played a few video games, and then left. And then I went home.
Is it? You sure? You don't sound too sure.
Nah, yeah, I'm sure.
That's what you're telling us. Okay, cool.
No. I went home. I definitely went home.
Okay, cool.
I definitely didn't stay that long. No, it's fine.
Okay. Bob alive.
Yep.
How you been, man?
All right.
Everything good?
Yeah.
You finally moved in?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Caught up on a lot of shit.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you watch The Boys?
Yeah.
You liked it?
It was funny.
Yeah. that shit wild.
Yeah, that shit.
When fucking
That's
this
just
nigga got
enough.
his gills touched.
Yeah, he's like it hurts.
That shit kind of hurt me. I was like,
I know, it was mad. I was like, damn.
what you think of it though? Like, what's your take on it? I know, motherfuckers asking like, yo, wait till Bobby see it.
It's like it's on some shit. I mean, I'm used to Rick and Morty and shit like that because that's what I get for it. I get a lot of Rick and Morty shit. A lot of like it's like South Park comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah, like it definitely be stretching shit.
yeah.
That's like yo, this shit. This shit is funny, man.
Fucking nuts, nigga.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool.
How about you? How was your weekend?
My weekend, I had a pretty good weekend. Had a great weekend. I was off of work.
Word.
That's for one. Shout out to Connecticut Office of the Arts. Shout out to Bria Simone. Shout out to Adrian Jefferson. I went there to host a panel with 5 other creatives. It was 6 of us in total. And it was a creatives conversation. You know, I moderated the panel. We had a live audience, and, you know, we was just talking about what we can do for the state of Connecticut as far as creatives, what we can do better, what we can do without, you know, just trying to get answers to a lot of questions that we have. So, you know, honored to have done that.
That's what's up.
Felt really inspired after that. And it kind of solidified something for me.
What?
This 9 to 5 shit is for the birds. Nigga.
Oh yeah, I've been saying that for a long
My
time.
nigga, I was like 92% there where I was like, yeah, I don't know. But, you know, if all else fails, I got something to fall back on. This 9 to 5 shit, not for me, nigga.
Yeah.
It's over.
I made in an hour what I would have made 8 hours working at a job.
Yep.
This shit is for the birds, my nigga. When I tell you, I looked at my check, I was like, oh, this is what niggas be talking about when they be like,
I get it now.
I get it now. So I was like,
Gotta figure it out now.
it just cemented something for me. It was like, yeah, I know I can't quit my job as of yet, because most of y'all niggas be like, yo, quit your job and go on your own journey and find what you really want to do. You can't just quit on a whim, nigga.
No, you cannot.
Yeah, you can't. You gotta
have an actual plan.
Have a plan, save up, and then, you know,
Yeah.
take that leap of faith. And I think that's what I'm gonna do in like the next year or so, because
Word.
this shit ain't it, nigga. And when I tell you, yo, I worked an hour, looked at that check and said, oh. 100%. Like,
imagine if I did this,
nigga. It downloaded
4 more times.
The download completed. I was like, nigga, what? I get this for only doing this? Yo, I didn't have to lift nothing. I didn't have to like walk nowhere. It was just like, yo, introduce the people, sit in the seat, ask questions. I do it here.
Yeah.
For free. Well, not free, but you know what I mean.
For deficit.
But I don't make shit when I do it here.
Yeah, for deficit.
For deficit. When I do it here, I don't get nothing from it. I actually did that shit, something for the state, and got paid for it.
That's what's up.
Nigga, what? Yo, give me a year.
Do it.
Oh, what? Quit. I ain't even giving niggas like 2 weeks.
So I'm just not coming back.
Whatever day I don't feel like coming in, I'm just not coming in. So
like, y'all get y'all shit when y'all get y'all shit, but
word. But the conference was dope though. I got a lot of information. Connected with a lot of people. It was weird. Like, it's like I was on a panel, right? And then people was coming up to me for information after. I'm like, yo, that's weird.
I mean, you've been doing this thing for a minute now.
Nah, but it's like I can imagine how like celebrities feel type of shit, where it's like niggas coming up to me like, yo, my name is such and such. I do this. I was like, yo, I can't do shit for you. But like, yo, continue talking. And then they do like, yo, let me get your information. You know, I want to work with you. I want to connect with you on this, that, and the third. I'm like,
and that's not even true. You might be able to do stuff for them. Maybe not on a grand scale, but you can, you know what I mean?
It just felt weird though. It was like
connecting to the right people. Hey, they look at me, need someone to record. Got you know G. Now they got a place to record. Like, it's even simple shit like that.
I can do simple shit like that. You know,
gotta start somewhere.
I talked to what's his face, the program director for Hot 937. I'm trying to have
trying to get all them niggas fired.
Nah, but I just want to talk to him. I just want to have a conversation with him.
Yeah, I just want to talk.
I just want to have a conversation with him.
Tell you all your niggas is garbage. And let me.
Well, things y'all can change. Not gonna call y'all garbage, but things y'all can do different. Yeah. And then you know, I got a lot of musical information and, you know, just industry information. You know, it was a good panel. So
that's what's up.
Again, shout out to Connecticut Office of the Arts.
Yeah, Connecticut's really small.
It is. It's not a lot of.
I know Desi.
Oh, you do?
I went to school with her.
Oh, word. Yeah, she was on the panel. She's a hippie of sorts, like a natural healer or whatever the fuck. And she has this thing called Inspire Her TV.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm gonna try to have them on my show so we can talk more about that stuff.
That's what's up.
But yeah, it was a good time.
Networking.
Lot of black faces like you was talking about with Howard.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of blackness.
Black on black love.
Yeah, you know. But, you know, all in all, a good weekend. Now I'm here. Doing what I like to do.
Word.
So
Sponsor
fuck word.
shit.
So let's see. SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, wherever the fuck you get your podcast, we are there. 3ninjaspodcast@gmail.com. For any comments, questions, or concerns, if you want your question answered in the Ask a Ninja segment, you can reach us there. That's 3ninjaspodcast.com. Also, 3ninjaspodcast.com, patreon.com/3 Ninjas Podcast. Also, shout out to everyone that bought merch.
Facts. You the real MVP.
I sent that shit out, so y'all should be getting it by the time this episode airs. Or the
I know
next
James
day.
got his because he sent me.
Yeah, James got his,
So-
and like a couple other people got this shit. But you know, take a picture in the merch, send us a photo. You know,
Yeah.
appreciate y'all for
Post
buying the
it
shit.
on the Grizzly Am so we can, you know, show it off to other motherfuckers so they can buy
appreciate
shit
y'all
too.
for buying and supporting, and
Facts.
you know,
Yo, you know when you drink Kool-Aid at the bottom is mad sugary?
yeah.
Yo, this shit's mad potent at the bottom.
It's a concentrated fucking poison,
This
nigga.
shit just hit me. I was like,
It's a
oh.
because it's
nigga.
whiskey rock,
I
nigga.
wish the whole bottle tastes like that.
Nigga, that shit been sitting there aging.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know, right? It's been sitting in the cast glass,
That shit been sitting in here.
simmering in the heat, fucking boiling the riboflavins.
fermenting.
Yeah, fermenting. God touched that little bottle. Was like, bloop.
Don't say nothing crazy.
Nah, say everything crazy.
No.
It's about that time.
We might have a guest on, so you gotta relax.
Well, he gotta do it so I can't because I can't do it.
Okay,
I gotta try to behave this episode.
please do.
I'm trying
Mm.
because I said I would. So I'm gonna try my best.
You should behave every fucking episode. What are you talking about? So, Hesh, what questions we got, man?
All right, so I think we'll do this one first because it's easier to answer. It was a quicker answer. Excuse me. This question comes from Dominican Khaled, I believe, and his question was just a simple question for us. It was like, "Hey, I want to ask y'all something. I know y'all talked brief about it, but how come you guys don't review shows like Arrow or The Flash? Is it because y'all are not into Arrow and Flash, or is it because there's not enough time to watch all those shows?
The second one. It's just not like
Yeah, it's
It's not a lot of time.
it's not a lot of time to watch all these shows, because if we want to watch first, we gotta watch shit that we deem necessary that like most people watch, and we try to review it on the show.
Yeah.
Then it's like you got that leisure time where it's like I want to watch what I want to watch, my favorite shit, maybe some shit I need to catch up on, maybe some shit that's it's in its like third or fourth season. I'm still on season fucking 1. So it's like it's that shit, and then having a 9 to 5, having a personal life, and it's like we just can't watch all these shows or review all these shows. So like some got to get cut, and we got other podcasts to listen to where they review Flash and the Arrow and other CW shows or just other superhero shows in general. But it's just us, that's not on the top of our priority list of things to review.
I ain't gonna lie. I think it's just one of those things where they know there's other podcasts out there, but they just like how we do it.
That
Probably.
but it's just the fact that like I said, I just don't be having the time, because it's like I don't want to be watching shit for the fact of reviewing it. I want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I just don't be wanting to watch shit sometimes. Like sometimes I just be going home, going to sleep.
That's all.
I'll be like, I'll put something on knowing
to go to sleep.
I'm going to sleep.
Yo, yeah, no, I be doing that shit all the time. I put something on knowing I'm not
gonna watch it.
gonna actually pay attention to it.
Nigga, I'll put something on subbed and be like, I know I'm not reading this shit.
That's why I don't even watch anime no more, because that's how I watch TV in bed. It's bad. Like I watch TV while I'm in bed, so I don't necessarily pay the greatest attention to everything I'm watching.
And then you
so I
gotta
don't watch
rewind this shit 8 times.
Yeah, so I don't watch fucking anime because a lot of it is like
Sub,
and I'm like I can't understand Japanese.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't
like
want
most of us.
Yeah.
So I don't want just to know. I mean, I want to actually kind of. It's like if you close your eyes, you can kind of follow what's going on.
Yeah.
But if it's in Japanese, I don't know.
Yeah, like,
I don't know. But yeah, out of the three of us, I think I'm the one who watches like Arrow and Flash the most.
Definitely.
And even I stopped after like episode 6 last season. So I'm like mad behind.
I used to after the whole what was it? I was watching Flash though. After Barry fought his doppelganger. Remember that?
No.
He was like the speed god.
Oh, yeah, that was like last season.
See what I
But
mean?
yeah,
I just stopped.
that was like
man.
season 3-ish.
Yeah, it's
Or
that,
some shit.
and it's way too many shows to be reviewing.
But
yeah, man.
I do want to get caught up, and I want to watch it, especially because I know Arrow's ending this season, and they got the Crisis on Infinite Earth shit coming on, and that's gonna be fucking crazy. But I don't know. Yeah, it's hard. It's like the older you get,
If this
more
was my
shit-
job, I'd do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like if like
Until this is our job.
yeah, it's like
Too
I
much
got
time.
I gotta be sad at home, so I ain't got time to watch TV. I gotta lay in bed and
Gotta be sad at home.
listen to music. I ain't got time to watch out. No, let me stop. But no, it's like if there wasn't other shit that I was having to do, like I'd probably try to make more time to like actually watch it. But like I do make sure to watch Black Lightning because we talk about it, and then when other shit's coming on, I'll get to it when I get to it.
Yeah, so if y'all want us to review specific shows, let us know what shows you want us to review because we just be reviewing shit that we like. It was like, yo, this shit came out. Yeah. We gonna watch it? Niggas be like, all right, cool.
Exactly.
But like, this show is for y'all, so what do y'all want us to review? Make sure y'all send us an email because that Instagram DM gets kind of convoluted and, it
gets lost in the shuffle.
Shit gets lost, so if you send us an email, we got shit in order because we don't get that many emails, so make sure you do that. So yeah, thank you, Dominic Khaled. What's the other question we got?
This other question, and I believe this one comes from Toronto. Shout out to Toronto.
T-Buggy.
It goes a little something like this. Hey, ninjas. I know you saw the...
Why you have that? Why?
Nigga, don't ask.
Yeah, what's the question, B?
I don't know. All right, anyway, he goes, hey, ninjas, I know you saw the list of the top 50 rappers that had Joe Budden at number 3. That list was, as Hesh would say, Basuda. Who are your top 10 MCs, and do you think there should have been female rappers on the list? Love the show. Hesh, please stop acting crazy. I don't know what the fuck that means. I'm tired of being attacked. I didn't even do anything. Discount what just happened when I tried to start reading the question. Pretend that didn't happen. I'm gonna just act ignorant.
Okay.
But yeah.
So
fucking crazy.
Our top 10 rappers. Yeah, that list was kind of like, I think another podcast had made that list and the shit just went viral. It is we don't know the criteria of that list. It's just based on basically what they like and what they. I think it's two hosts and one host, and it's like what they agreed upon and like the kind of music that they like. That list was Basuda. Should there be females on the top 50 list? Of course.
Sure. Top 50, yes.
In my top 10, are there any females? No.
I don't think so. Yeah, no.
My top 10 list.
I'm talking about my personal preference and what I prefer to listen to.
Yeah, if we going by,
we're not talking about like the best.
Yeah, if we going by like what do we think are the top 10 rappers versus our personal favorite top 10 rappers, that's a whole different list of conversation. But off the top of my head, Method Man's my favorite rapper. So this is in no particular order, but that's my favorite rapper. Hove, Big, Andre 3000. That's 4. Scarface. Eminem. Eminem's on my list, even though he been pissing me off lately, but he's still on my list.
Yeah.
Boy, howdy. 6 or 5, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to name 10 off the top.
Yeah, it's hard to name 10 off the top. Scarface. Like when I think of my top 10 list, it's like, yo, when I hear this person puts out a song, like I drop everything I'm doing, like listen to it.
No Lupe?
Nah, I don't drop what I'm doing for Lupe. Lupe be having too many words. Like, I don't like to learn.
Wolf Spirit, Dog Spirit, nigga. He made Mural.
Yeah, he did make Mural. Like, it's a hard ass song, but it's like it'd be a lot of words, and then you gotta like you gotta actually like sit down and listen to it. Like I need shit that I could be like doing something and still catch the gist of it. Fab? Yeah. Hell no, Fab ain't in my top 10.
I fuck with Fab.
Jada's in my top 10.
Why you fuck with Jada, not Fab?
Because Jada better than Fab.
Jada, exactly.
Yeah, I know, but you got a top 10. You gotta be somewhere in there.
Fab.
I mean, your ass beat who the next Raz beat.
And don't get me wrong, Fab is nice.
Yeah, Fab is nice, but he's not in my top 10.
Exactly.
In my top, and this might be like East Coast bias, like in that.
Why I throw up a West Side? Why I do this? But Fab might be in my top 40, 35 maybe. I can name 35 rappers I like better than Fab. But if we doing like a list of who are the best rappers with actual criteria, I don't think he cracks the top 45. That's like what, 8? Yeah.
Styles?
Nah, he ain't in my top 10. I really like Big Crit, yo.
Big Crit?
Yeah.
Nice.
And Kendrick.
Pray for me.
Might have to go with that. Cause anytime that K-Dot drop a song, I'm like, yo, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
Run to my phone, listen to the shit. And Drake might be somewhere in my top 10 too. I really love Drake.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, that nigga's climbing that chart. I don't care about the, he don't write his shit. Everybody don't write this shit.
You know, you can always tell if he wrote it by if he say some miscellaneous shit you don't know what the fuck about.
Yeah, like
I don't know what you're talking about.
Talk about some chick from Peach Street or some
Yeah,
shit.
right.
Like, yo,
Shout out to
Drake, we don't know her.
Shout out to the chick that used to work at.
Okay, all right, you wrote that.
Damn, what's she work? The Hooters? Some chick that worked at Hooters or some shit like that. Was it Hooters?
Yeah,
I think it was Hooters. One of them.
Shout out to the chick that made my flies at Kinko's. But what's your top list? Yeah, y'all can do top 5.
I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, I might have to. I don't know if I can get 10.
Yeah.
So in no particular order, and these are not. I'm not saying like these are the best rappers in the world, but these are my favorite.
Yeah.
For me, Joe Budden is obviously on that list for me.
Because you said
facts. Kellerman, Young Wasalu was up there.
Okay.
Lupe, Jay, Pun.
Oh yeah, how the fuck I forget Pun?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But it's no, go ahead.
Yeah, Biggie. And then Jada's up there.
Mm-hmm. That's 5.
Yeah, that was 6.
Are you doing 10?
I'm gonna try to get to 10 if I can. I know it's gonna be somebody when I leave. I'm like, oh, I meant that. Yeah. I don't know. We'll do 6 if I think the other 3.
They got a top 6.
Yeah, I got a top 6.
What you bobble out?
Favorites, right?
I guess, yeah.
Eminem.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Your top.
Eminem, Jadakiss, Big. It gets hard when it gets to that. Let me see.
I know.
It's so hard because it's so many.
Yeah, I know.
It's so many fucking rappers. It was
right?
like, yo, who do I really like?
Yeah, I fucks with Lupe though. I fucks with Lupe.
Yeah, Lupe bar you to death, my nigga.
And that's not me saying Lupe ain't nice.
Oh no, he's nice.
Lupe a bar. Damn near everybody on that list, but I'm like, he's not in my.
He's nicer than your favorite rapper, nigga. Let me tell you that.
It's not. Yo, I'm throwing on a Lupe album just cause. Like,
I mean, I do, but
Going Too Soon, fucking Stack Bundles.
Yeah. Oh, Squad Up. That was my nigga. Yo, when I tell you I was sad, like for like a week when he died, I was like hurt, and I didn't even know that nigga.
Yeah, shit fucked up. It's hard to get there.
I know.
Oh, Fab. I like Fab.
And I got a bunch of like honorable mention niggas too. Like,
yeah, I got a bunch of those.
Redman.
Who's playing Redman?
What's that? 7?
I think that's 7.
All right, almost there.
Yeah,
I say Jay.
Not Jay nice.
But I'm not gonna lie. Like Jay, it seems like some of the shit now is kind of watered down to what it used to be. Yeah.
He trying to be socially conscious.
His catalog is stupid.
Yeah, I know.
If you taking it from Reasonable Doubt to 444,
yeah.
Plus, he married to Beyonce, so
it's just content. Like you, like it's impossible for niggas to have the same content throughout the years and it still be good.
Yeah, who been rapping since as long as Jay's been rapping? That's still really relevant.
And you can't keep the same content and knowing like, yo, you worth $1 billion. Niggas know you ain't selling cocaine. You ain't shooting people. You ain't in the clubs popping bottles. You own the bottle company. You might own that club. Like niggas know you ain't doing all this other shit. Other niggas can rap about this shit because it sound nice and we think they might be doing it on their off time, but with Jay it just don't sound right. Like this nigga talk about paintings he owned.
You tell me Push ain't still selling that weight?
But Push has that, like he has to, like he's at the point where he has to do that.
I mean, he don't. I guess, but because
if you were,
selling that same brick for 45 years. Nigga.
Push done.
And shout out to Push because Push is nice. I'm not.
He's nice as fuck.
Yeah,
what's that genre of music that I can't think of when niggas
cocaine rap?
No,
cocaine rap.
Like the extra fist pumped EDM.
Oh, EDM.
He has done some EDM shit.
Yeah.
He has the versatility to do it, but it's just like niggas love Push for the coke rap. That's like we go to certain rappers for certain shit.
Things, you right.
So
yeah,
right. To actually like if Push put out a conscious album, like what the fuck wrong with you?
Why you being malice, nigga?
Yeah,
go back.
Nigga, you ain't malice, yeah.
You ain't no malice, nigga. Go back to being Push, nigga.
But
right.
2 more. J. Cole and Drake.
Yeah, I do like Cole.
Fair.
I like J. Cole.
I didn't know if I want to put him on my list.
Yo,
like
I don't be liking J. Cole as much as niggas like J. Cole. I be like,
J.
yo,
Cole be rapping his ass off, though.
He be saying a lot of bullshit too.
He be rapping his ass off when he don't.
He speaks from experience. That's what I like. I like hearing
this nigga be rapping. I don't know what you consider bullshit, but that nigga be rapping his ass off.
He be saying like. He just be saying some bullshit sometimes. I be like, yo, I don't get why as a rapper you would say that line or put that bar in there.
He's trying to educate you and teach you to go to college and don't save her. She don't want to be saved.
I mostly like him because he speaks from experience.
I remember he said some shit.
First things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil, nigga.
Yeah, for real.
For real. I think on his first album, he said something like, niggas think they the shit, but they can't out-fart me. I was like, nigga, what?
Yeah, they can't out-fart that nigga. So you fart when you shit.
Okay,
That's fucking whack.
Look.
Don't try to justify the dumb shit.
So you gonna tell me every rapper ain't never had no whack line?
No, every rapper has had a whack line.
Right, so let that slide.
Biggie done said some wild shit.
He
Hov done
sounds like
said
a
some wild
daddy dick,
shit.
nigga.
Hov done said some wild shit. Jada done said some wild shit. Eminem, no question.
Has definitely said some boxing shit.
Meth has probably said some corny shit, but
All right, so
I don't know. It's
let
just,
Cole have some corny shit from here.
I'm not saying I don't like Jake. See? I can't get my pain on niggas.
No, you can't. I'm just saying.
You don't like Kevin Hart, J. Cole, or Michael B. Jordan?
Drake
I mean, you don't.
Drake said some whack shit before.
Of course.
He said my flow is hot and is heavy like a wet sponge.
Hot and heavy like West Pine, nigga.
Nah, but it was a good 3-year like going where Drake said no whack shit. I was like,
this is before your side though. So.
Yeah, I mean, it is what
Listen,
it is.
Lil Wayne rapped the alphabet in the track.
Oh, I forgot about
Oh,
Lil
yeah,
Wayne.
he
Goddamn.
did.
Literally said the alphabet.
Yeah.
A, B,
B, C, D, E, F.
I
I
was
was like,
like,
all right, nigga. Get that. You got that. You got that.
But
H-I-J-K.
Elemental P.
Yeah, he did. Damn.
oh my god,
So look, sometimes your favorite rapper got whack lines.
you right.
That being said, I don't even know where I was going with that.
I say it was coming. But thank you, Terrence,
Yeah, facts.
for the question. So we ain't got shit to review, so let's get into these motherfucking topics. So Hobbs and Shaw passes 400 million worldwide.
Somebody go check on Tyrese.
Yo, Tyrese. Like I told y'all niggas somewhere pissed. He wrote that whole dissertation of like why you should be mad or like I guess it didn't do like good first week sales.
Yeah,
It
it's
didn't
like
like-
186,
But
something like that. But it's still good.
Compared to,
it's still good.
Because it didn't do like crazy. Because like I think the last one,
Like,
Fast
it's-
and Furious movie made like $1 billion.
it's not gonna do fast no
Yeah,
more.
exactly.
not.
So I
It's
don't
a
know.
spinoff.
Yeah, he's talking all that
Relax,
shit, and it's
man.
like, relax, nigga. It's like it still did it really good. It just didn't do fucking.
I think Tyrese was just looking for
mad.
something to like point at, like, ha ha,
Like,
you didn't make as much as fast.
And watch when this next one don't make as much money. Then what?
And then
Because
what?
they might be fatigued too. Because you don't even know.
Yeah.
They got
And-
8 movies so far.
But if they doing contract negotiations and you got to pick between, I can't work on set with that nigga, and it's like if I got to choose between The Rock and Tyrese,
oh, Rock.
sweet lady got to go.
Yo, what is this thing going around that Vin Diesel has a problem with The Rock?
They have a problem.
They do have a
The last
problem.
movie they didn't film
But
any
Vin-
scenes together.
But Vin Diesel, he's a part of the Fast Furious franchise. Doesn't he?
Yes.
Doesn't he own some of
He's
it?
a producer.
Oh,
Yes.
so
Yeah. Which is why they.
who you gonna choose, The Rock or Tyrese?
The
Rock.
If you're Vin Diesel?
Oh, if you're Vin
You have
Diesel,
a problem with this
Tyrese.
guy?
If you're Vin Diesel,
I don't know if he's I don't know if he's like a sole producer. I don't know if he can like.
He's a
make
producer.
that- He's
But
a,
you
yeah,
can't-
but like
you can't take
how
this.
much?
I think
but,
he owns it. Some of it.
But if we talking about business,
Yeah.
you got to separate the personal from the business.
Oh no, he don't.
You kind of do.
The last movie they filmed no scenes together.
That's crazy.
Rock and Vin Diesel, they angled it so that they were never actually in the same scene together, like actual face to face.
Oh, they did some Martin Gina shit.
Yeah, so the nigga would talk and they'll angle it and they'll
Oh.
fucking flip it over and put the other people on the other side, and then the nigga would talk and make it connected so that like they was in the same scene together. They was never actually in the same scene together. Them niggas do not like each other.
How
Yeah,
petty
but-
do you gotta be to do that?
Super petty.
I mean, but you got to make it work. It's
Just
like,
snuff
yo,
a nigga. I don't understand that.
nah,
I'm swinging on that.
Nah, I want to see that fight actually.
Me
But-
too. Well,
but-
Rock gonna fuck him up. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah.
Rock does steroids.
Yeah.
I love The Rock. He's a cool dude. He don't tell me that nigga not on steroids.
I don't know what he's.
I don't know, but-
like he just might be in the hard
That nigga injects like horse fucking something right in his neck, nigga.
I don't.
high carb diet. I don't know.
Ah, you right. I'm fat. I don't work out, so
I
you
don't
right.
know,
I don't
man.
know
This
nothing.
nigga eat a lot.
Yeah, the nigga eat a lot of
lot of
bullshit and
steroids.
work out all the time.
Hey man, all them damn pancakes going somewhere.
Yeah,
Making
pan-
pancakes, making fucking pancakes.
Ah,
Put
you
the
right.
steroid in a pancake.
Get the human growth ceremony or some shit. Nigga.
Steroid pancakes. But I think Hobbs and Shaw might get a sequel because it's
Probably.
doing so
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
But is that gonna interfere with the Fast franchise? Probably not. Will The Rock be in the Fast franchise still?
Probably not. I don't know. I think
I mean, he could be. It's not like they don't need to write him out. Just
They don't
because he
need
has a
to.
spinoff. I mean, but the purpose of a spinoff is to
I think
give
they,
you your own
yeah.
shit within
yeah, I
that
think
same
they gave.
world.
I think they gave him a spinoff because he don't fuck with Vin Diesel, but his character is popular and it's The Rock, and it's
That
like
makes
we can make
sense.
some
I
money.
think it's more popularity than I don't fuck with this nigga.
Oh yeah.
I think I don't know for a fact. I'm just saying I think,
Mhm.
but who knows? Who cares? The Rock is rich.
That's
Everybody we talking about is rich.
Yeah, and they both got their own fucking production companies. Who cares?
Hey, just go make your own shit.
Kevin Hart cares.
That's so MoviePass. MoviePass changed users' passwords so they couldn't use it. That's fire.
Your password was wrong.
Yo,
this is my password. No, it's wrong.
MoviePass is the best thing that never was. Yo.
Yeah.
Yo, when I was using this shit when it first came out, I was seeing movies every day. Like, I got out of work and went to go see a movie. I ain't give a fuck if I like it or not. I just knew I wasn't paying for it. It was like, yeah, I paid a subscription. The money come off the card. I go watch the movie. Cool. Then niggas started getting up on MoviePass. It's like, yo, you can't watch premiere movies like the week it come out. I was like, all right, so I don't want this shit. Then them niggas send me an email like every month, like, you sure you want to discontinue shit?
Like, yes.
You know, we're going to lower the price. You sure you want to come back? I'm like, nah, nigga, I'm good. If y'all can't give me the same shit I had before, I don't want it. But them niggas changing passwords so niggas can't use it. But they had a problem before where they was running out of money, and that was their whole issue before. It was like, yo, we can't let y'all see movies when it premieres because, you know, everybody's going to go see this shit and we're running out of money. I didn't know it worked. Like, I didn't know how this shit worked, honestly. But now that I know it's coming from like a whole allotment of money, it was like, y'all niggas can't be using this shit like y'all want.
Here's our budget. Every time you go, we just dwindle out some money from it.
Yeah. But, I mean, shout out to MoviePass for the fucking undercut and shit. It was like, yo, we gonna change a few passwords. A couple 100 million people can't use this shit, or a couple million people can't use this shit.
That's crazy.
And we gonna let y'all do it. Like, oh, we just had a system glitch and somebody had to rat them niggas out.
That's of course.
Oh man.
Like, yo, them niggas over there changing passwords.
Ooh, I'm telling you, change the passwords.
Whole state of Montana can't go to the movies.
Montana.
That's fucked up.
That is fucked up, but what you gonna do? The state company, they got the kill switch to shit. It was like, yo, let's shut down Hawaii, New Mexico, Dallas. Let's shut down all that shit.
Because they're hemorrhaging money and they're trying to find a way to keep from spending money. So if nobody can actually use the account,
some fucking investors.
Who's gonna invest in that if they dying?
Somebody. They find people to invest in the dying businesses all the time, and they revitalize them, they rebrand them, they do all this wild shit. Just find somebody to invest in this shit. Find like a face of the company. If you got some shit called MoviePass, get a movie star. Get somebody to endorse the shit.
Nah.
Get them to invest in this shit. Get The Rock.
Because they probably don't like it because it probably means they get less money somehow, I'm sure. So that's probably why there aren't any movie stars endorsing it.
MoviePass?
I'm sure there's maybe. Cause I don't know why. I'm just saying.
I mean,
maybe
it does kind of cut down on tickets
or something. Yeah, like
I think it depends on how many subscriptions you got. I don't think they had enough subscriptions to pay for the drawback. It's kind of like Planet Fitness, right? That shit is only $10, but a lot of people don't go to the gym, but they still
pay.
Charge their card.
But
it's kind of like that.
But for this, the difference between that is that people are going to the movie, so they're actually spending.
That's
spending
what fucked them
money.
up. Niggas actually going to them shits.
They had my money. I know that. So whatever they did with that, I don't know. Because
it was like we were saying that this $1 billion thing is new, so everybody's going to the movies more frequently than before. Than like what 5 years ago?
Yeah. When people go to movies, it's a funny thing. They go less and more.
5 years ago, it wasn't like this though.
They go to big tentpole stuff, way more. So those make a lot more money. Mm-hmm. But if you're not like a superhero movie or some big blockbuster, then a lot of people aren't really gonna go see it.
Like before the Marvel craze, it was the Fast and Furious shit.
Yeah,
like everybody was going to see that shit. Was like a fucking event.
Yeah,
going to see Fast and Furious.
That was a fucking holiday.
Oh yeah,
because them shit's always
Fast Furious out.
Them shit's always dropped near like Memorial Day, the 4th of July, or something like that. It was like
Puerto Ricans with their souped up cars coming.
Going to the McDonald's parking lot. Yo, we gonna go over here.
Yeah, we gonna do that.
We gonna ride.
Yeah, they got that V12. Speed.
I'm not participating.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Shout out to the Vatos though.
So
Vatos and Puerto Ricans like the same thing.
It's not.
I know.
It's Mexicans.
Okay, cool.
Hey, there's Vatos with souped up cars.
No, you're right. I'm just
Mexicans with souped up cars.
Yeah.
But okay, never mind. Cool.
Nope. Whatever he's gonna say, don't say it.
No, I'm chilling. So Euphoria hits ratings high with the season 1 finale.
I gotta see that.
I haven't seen Euphoria yet.
It's interesting.
As
I heard
you
it's like kids.
It's like a series of kids.
Oh,
like the movie
They're
Kids.
Not really, yeah, like that.
It's like an updated version of Kids.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot to take in. So
there's some stuff that happens in the show. It's wild. It's intriguing.
But it also makes me scared of what like teenagers are like susceptible to now, and like the type of shit that happens.
Mad
to
drugs
them.
and sex.
It's like drugs, sex. Then you got social media. Then you got older men trying to talk to younger girls and pimps and prostitution and drugs and ODing and just normal depression, anxiety and shit. So it's like it's a real teenage story.
It's all that
of like not middle America, but like where does it take place in?
I think it's somewhere in California. It's just a bunch of kids in high school and they doing drugs.
Trying to find themselves.
Pretty much. One chick OD'd recently and then she came back to life and then she didn't die.
Oh, okay.
I'm just joking, but like well, I mean, she OD'd and they
General Hospital, nigga?
they Narcaned her. Well, you can OD and live, nigga. They Narcaned her back to life and so she's an addict, so she's coming back and like basically when she comes back she meets this chick and this chick is on like Grindr and shit, finding dudes that like
Grindr
or whatever.
Ain't Grindr the gay app?
Yeah.
So I don't even know if it's actually Grindr, but she is a transgender. She's a transgender individual.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then so I mean I got no spoilers for the show, I guess.
Yeah.
And then like she has sex with some old dude. This old dude happens to be one of the dude's fathers. And like since the dude was a kid, he found his father's pornos and the father be recording himself beating it down on some dude. And then so this dude's like sexually confused, but he don't know what he's doing. So I don't know if the dude gay or not.
Do I like this or don't I?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yo.
Dick hard? Oh.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it's like so it's mad intriguing. And there's some other chick, you know, having sex, getting pregnant, and then this other chick is like trying to get sexual attention. So she like filming herself and putting on like Pornhub type of like mistress.
All right, nigga,
type
I want
of
to watch it, nigga. Relax, nigga.
You sold us already.
Yeah,
Goddamn.
nigga.
Yo, quick question to y'all, right? Have y'all ever watched Tu Wong Fu?
Nigga, yo,
nah.
When I was 10 years old, what the fuck happened to Nino Brown, Ghost, and Luigi?
Dog.
What happened?
Dog. So, for the first time ever, I watched Tu Wong Fu this weekend.
It's good though.
Oh, damn, that's your first time seeing it?
It's my first time seeing it ever.
Oh, for real?
Okay,
like,
damn.
ever.
That's actually good.
And
though.
the whole time I was looking at it, I was like, yo, how the fuck did these niggas get away with this shit? Not even on like they could be perceived as gay, but it was like the way shit is now, if you even hint at something gay, the internet tearing you up. How did these niggas get away with this shit dressing as full drag queens in the 90s? And they weren't like bad at the roles. They were pretty like convincing.
Especially Wesley's nice.
Wesley is an ugly woman, first off. Patrick Swayze, I was like, yo, he could pass for a woman if he wanted to.
John Leguizamo?
Real shit. No, John Leguizamo was like a trashy, just like, I'm gay and this is how I feel, so I'm gonna dress like this. But Patrick Swayze could dead ass pass for like a woman if he wanted to. Like if he wanted to go down that road, Ghost could do the shit. But I was watching that shit and just like pure amazement. Like my mouth was open the whole time. I was like laughing. And I could not believe what I was watching. I was like, yo, my whole thought process through the whole movie, I was like, yo, this movie ain't that bad. But I was like, yo, how did y'all niggas get away with this shit in the 90s? And Wesley is a really ugly woman. It was just me.
I mean, I watched it when I was young, so it's been a long time since I actually seen the film. I've seen it before, but it's been a very
when
long
you
time.
were young, did you know what you was watching?
No, when I was young, I didn't know what the fuck I didn't know no shit about drag queens and all that other stuff or whatever the appropriate term is for it. I didn't know nothing about that.
I'm kind of glad I watched it now because it just it put a lot of shit in perspective. Like I guess, like you can really just play a role. Yeah. And people are like, it's just a role, but
there's acting.
But in today's world, you can't accept a role like that and not be like the talk of the town or some shit. Like when Brokeback Mountain came out, that was the talk of the town, and that movie wasn't even that good. It was just the fact that it was two gay cowboys, and it was like, yo, Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger. It was like, yo, they gay cowboys, and it was like
cowboys.
I'm gonna take my horse to the hotel.
You gotta relax. But I was watching this shit and I was like, yo, this movie ain't even that good. So what was the big hoopla about this movie? Just because they was gay.
I got the horses in the back.
We ain't never get another guest on the show again.
I didn't say nothing this time. I've been good so far. I've been fighting myself.
Why can't we be civilized human beings?
We are. We just
but
in a different civilization.
But it was just that whole movie was wild.
No, I mean,
it was funny though.
I haven't seen it, so it's been a very long time.
It's on Netflix.
Like the whole thing where the lady was getting beat up by her husband. She was like, God damn it, it's still too spicy. She was like, you just like making me mad, huh? And he jumped at her. It's a good movie.
It's a good movie, but I'm just saying I don't think that shit would have flew like now, like you couldn't put out Tu Wong Fu without the whole world being like, he gay. You gay. You always wanted to have this role. Nigga, you gay. And I'm like, yo, he just playing a role, and then it's like, I don't know.
That's a man.
Yo, Wesley is a really
Yeah.
He's disgustingly ugly. I'm like,
How we get a
jeez.
dog? You did not like the look of Wes.
Cause I love a lot of Wesley Snipes movies, and to see him like that was just like weird.
Yeah.
Like I love White Man Can't Jump. I love Blade. I love New Jack City.
Blade was his redemption.
I was like, all right, cool.
Okay,
man.
we forget about that.
Cool, but what the fuck are you talking about? Euphoria?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I gotta watch Euphoria.
Yeah, no, it's actually. I think it's
apparently it's a great show.
Yeah, I think it's actually a pretty good show. It's just interesting to see because a lot of wild shit happens.
I imagine.
Yeah, and it's just
from what has been described to me, I can tell like a lot of crazy shit happens. But I want to see it's on. It should be on demand, right?
Yes, it's all done. It's
the season's over.
Yeah, so it should be all up there.
All right. So speaking of Netflix, Netflix has signed D&D to a massive deal in the estimated range of $200 million.
Yeah, they chased it back.
What's D&D?
Game of Thrones writers.
Oh, they got Netflix back?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Netflix is like wilding right now because they're definitely losing money and they're spending mad money and they're not making money. I think I'm interested to see what they do next. Obviously, I'm not quite.
Fuck around, be MoviePass.
They might. None of you say you might be right.
I hope not.
Obviously, I wasn't super happy with the way season 8 ended. So hopefully, maybe whatever the fuck they're moving on to, they'll care more about.
Yeah.
I mean, it started. I mean, Game of Thrones started off amazing, and it was amazing for a very long time, and then it kind of just at the end. Yeah. So I do have faith in them. So I do think it's cool, and obviously Netflix wants to get some exclusive shit. So whatever they decide to do, though,
I'm not even mad at them for doing that though.
For making a shitty last season.
Yeah, I'm not even mad at them because now that I think about it, I probably would have did the same shit.
I would not have.
In context, I would have probably did the same shit because you got to think, right? Star Wars is a lot of these geek niggas that's their first fix of this shit, like fandom.
Yeah,
that's their first thing. So you got to imagine, like, if it was something that you were doing, and just think of something that's your favorite thing to do. Somebody asked you, okay, I know you're doing this, but we want you to do this. Something that you fucks with. It's like, damn, I'm fucking that shit since a kid, like.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you have to. But that doesn't mean you have to make the. That doesn't mean you have to do the other thing that you're doing dirty at the end just because you got something else.
Yeah, but at the same, just think about what they did. They cut their season short because who knows how many wiggle room they had to actually do this shit to write it.
All right,
they probably had to like just cut the shit short. Like, you know what? Let's just wrap this shit up and do this because this is our childhood. This is some shit that we grew up on. We love this shit. Let me do this.
Yeah, but it's also your career and your legacy and your reputation.
That's what I was gonna say. You shouldn't sacrifice your legacy and your reputation for the bag. Like long after you gone, what's your legacy gonna be like? Oh, them niggas shortchanged us because they wanted to go chase a bag. Like that's fucking stupid.
Yeah. How does Netflix feel later on when they might have a chance to get another deal somewhere? Now, what are they gonna do? They're gonna do the same thing to Netflix or whatever they're doing. They're gonna shortchange them just because now they got another opportunity. I understand maybe like okay we only have a certain amount of time to do this, but I think they could have done better to try to make season 8 better before they moved on to something else.
Because it's a strong possibility that you can lose them the same way you got them.
Facts killing me.
So, tread lightly with them niggas. So, Disney is exploring an Aladdin sequel. I mean, it has to be like years and like it has to be with Jafar and his lamp, right? Is it gonna be that same shit that I saw with like the Return of Jafar?
Well, they said
probably
what they're saying is it might be a whole new thing,
a whole new world.
Yep.
Nigga walk right into that one. Yeah. But Aladdin's sequel.
Yeah, I mean, you do Return. I didn't watch it, so I don't know if it ended exactly the same way, where he got sucked into the thing.
Yeah, and then they threw his ass in the desert. Space.
Yeah, so he can come back and be like, "Oh, you got the infinite cosmos at my fingertips."
Yeah,
but Genie's free now, so there's not going to be no Genie.
Boy, he came back.
He's gonna be a human though.
But he came back. He still got the magic though.
Yeah. Well, does he?
He did in the animated movie. He did. I don't know about this.
I think he was a whole human.
Oh, he's a regular ass human.
He had kids and everything.
Well, you can. So, I mean, you can. Yeah. Never mind.
I think he got of that shit. No, it's not the same as the cartoon. He's full human.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, human.
Okay. I mean, they could twist some shit. It's not like he got to stay human, or it's like just because he was on a boat don't mean he didn't have the magic power. Maybe he just wanted to experience like some human shit with his girl and his kids to make it appear like, oh, I'm doing some human shit, but I could still fuck shit up if I want to.
Well,
still
making her have orgasms like Bruce Almighty.
I mean, you can do that too, but you do some other shit like yo, ain't no wind. We stuck in the sea. Push this boat. Nigga, I'm Genie. But let's see, where am I at? Disney reveals the price for Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus bundle for $12.99 a month. Y'all niggas trying to get all the money. Y'all trying to steal everybody's subscription. Y'all trying to make niggas cancel subscriptions. I fuck with this.
No, it's good because I already got Hulu, so now
Disney
I can get all three of those things. I don't even care about ESPN, but
Disney Plus about to take over the world.
Yeah.
But when this shit drop, I want to know how many. I want a report to come out of how many subscriptions one streaming service lost and how many Disney picked up. I want that report because I know niggas is not paying for all these streaming services. All this shit gonna come out the same time every month. It's like, you know what? I'm dropping 3 of these to get this one Disney shit.
Yeah.
And then they got everything Disney, which I was talking about what shit I grew up on.
Yeah.
This is shit that I like, Disney got everything that niggas grew up on. They got old Mickey Mouse movies. They got old Disney Channel specials. They got everything.
Yeah, like all the original Disney Channel channel movies. So they're like Brink and all the other shit. Was it Brink? Yeah, whatever the fuck it was. The skating shit.
And they're telling you.
Brink! Oh my
Brink,
God!
Oh shit.
Yeah, so they're gonna have all that shit up there.
Yeah, what is your mind be going? Brink? Yeah, I remember that was like a fucking premiere. It was like Brink, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
On Disney.
It's gonna be there.
And niggas went home and watched that shit like it was fucking Avengers.
Yeah, they're gonna have that. They're gonna have Johnny Tsunami, all that shit. All that shit up there.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All that shit's up there.
Damn. Is Gummy Bears Disney?
Gumby? No.
I don't know.
Gummy Bears.
Gummy Bears.
Oh, Gummy Bears? Yeah.
Is it?
That's definitely gonna be on there.
Oh, DuckTales.
DuckTales. Woo.
Nigga, if they have that up there.
They have all
They're
that shit
gonna have
up
all
there.
that. They're gonna have everything. All teams.
Everything.
All teams.
They got the old DuckTales, the new DuckTales.
Yeah.
Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Oh,
Who was that singing that? He was going in.
Oh, it was Dr. Larry.
I know it wasn't.
Okay. Let's see. Bob Iger announces reimaginings for Disney Plus. This includes Home Alone, Boo, A Night at the Museum. All right.
Home Alone doesn't work in the modern day.
Yes. So we got this includes
Neglected
Home
Kids?
Alone, Night at the Museum, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and Cheaper by the Dozen.
That's cool.
Home Alone does not work.
That's an Uber ride away from us fixing that problem.
As a series, it does
text
not
message
work.
away from fixing that problem. You can email your Ma, you left me, nigga.
I'm home.
And then that's it. Movie's over.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be like a series. It's supposed to be a movie.
Yeah, it's a series.
Oh, so either way,
Yeah.
it makes it worse.
How
you home alone for 3 days?
No, like I'm trying to
They gonna
imagine
make it
because
work.
with most shit I can imagine how it's gonna go. I cannot imagine how you do Home Alone and it'd be like the 90s.
You could. The only way it works is if he just sleeps until they're in the air.
And then
I guess.
and then his phone is dead.
Yeah.
And then someone breaks in the house and they do some extra wild shit. It was like, yo, we disconnected all this shit. We knocking out the Wi-Fi or some
So it's
wild.
definitely just a text message like, "Yo, Ma, you know y'all niggas left me, dog."
Yo.
And that's it.
I don't know, but
I mean, fuck it. I'm sure they'll figure it out. Whatever. Whatever.
and Macaulay got to be in it.
Oh, if he's one of the robbers.
Because
He
I
gotta
got
be
be
either-
pictures of him.
If he the robber or he one of the parents,
Or the neighbors. Oh, that'd be dope.
Yeah,
All
he
right.
gotta be.
I'm with it now if that happens.
yeah, Macaulay got to be in it. Mad strung out.
Mad cocaine. I don't even think he's ever been on drugs like that. I swear. He just looked
He
like
was.
that.
Oh.
He just looked like that.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he was, but it wasn't like.
I heard Macaulay was on that shit.
Oh, well, he ain't Orlando Jones himself, is what I'm saying.
No,
Oh,
he didn't do
yeah,
that.
no.
Nah, something happened to Orlando Jones.
Yeah, crack.
We're not gonna
nigga.
Brown or whatever. No, something happened.
Okay, we're not gonna do
That
this.
he don't wanna talk
We're
about.
not gonna do this.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying.
Oh, like
Yeah,
He got
something
Epstein.
happened that he don't want to talk about.
We're not gonna do this stuff. We're not
So that
gonna try to behave.
not even that, but it was like,
You got Epstein.
but why wouldn't you come out about that? If the whole like,
It hurts,
if
man.
that's the cool thing if that's the thing to do now, was to come out and express yourself and call these people out and get these people fired and put this in the forefront, why is Orlando Jones holding that in?
I mean, I didn't know that happened to him. I'm just saying. I'm assuming that's what he's talking about.
I mean,
No, that's what I'm talking about.
I don't know his life like that, nigga.
I mean, you can always out niggas now, and you'll be looked at as like, oh, such a brave soul, and then we'll get this nigga, and then whoever it was, we need to get him the fuck out of here, or her, whoever the fuck it was.
Orlando Brown.
Get him the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But okay, moving on. Let's see.
Or 3J.
Oh God. Ewan McGregor is in talks for an Obi-Wan series for Disney Plus.
I'm with it. Kind of.
Why is it kind of?
I like the idea of it. I think it's very cool. I don't know. Star Wars. They I don't know.
I fucks with Star Wars.
I like Star Wars, but I just feel like, I don't know. What's it going to be about?
His life on Tatooine.
What did he do?
He fought Darth Maul again.
Did he though?
Yeah, he did.
Did he though?
And he had to protect Luke.
And then why?
What you mean? Because they had to protect him.
Why?
Because he's
From
the
what?
balance in the Force, nigga.
Was he though?
Yes. Well, this new shit is something else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
This new shit fucking up.
It's like, why he was just being a little hermit? Why he lied to the nigga? Why didn't he just say, hey, your dad's Darth Vader, and you can use the Force, Luke. Let me teach you how to do the
Nigga, you wanna know that your dad ain't shit?
I mean, most of us do.
I mean, my dad is not.
Like,
my dad is the shit, so
yeah.
I don't know what that's like for y'all, but
I think it's cool because you grew up with your dad.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Like, what if you find out your followers on the block or some shit like that? Oh shit, I speed past him every day. But your mother never told you.
All that money you out there making, man.
He's like, don't talk to him, baby. Every day.
You ain't buy me shit. I'm gonna clap this old nigga, man. All them times we were struggling, you over here in Benzes and Porsches and shit. Dookie ropes on your neck.
Well, I was talking about boxers on the street, but
if he was poor,
yeah.
I'd be like, look at this nigga, old bum ass, bitch ass nigga. Want you anyway?
Yeah.
I ghost.
You ain't pops.
Yeah.
You're fuck if you wasn't.
No, actually, look, I like that idea. I do like the idea that they're bringing Ewan McGregor back because he was one of the good things about the prequels.
Yeah.
So it is. I am intrigued to see what happens. I just don't know what they're gonna do. Or if he fights Darth Maul and then he's gonna fight him every season. Like, all that nigga did was sit in his whole hovel and just watch this nigga from far away.
What is Tusken Raiders?
I mean, it doesn't say how long the series has to be. It could be like a one-off. It could be.
It could be.
Oh
like,
yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
Like 13 episodes, some shit like that.
Yeah, some shit.
For some shit like that, I'm with it. I roll with it. I fucks with it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Mass shootings delay ESPN's broadcast of Apex Legends tournament out of respect. I get this.
Yeah, I get it.
Because there was, so other than the mass shooting that just happened, there was one that happened in Florida, I think, at a gaming tournament too. And that shit was on like Twitch.
That shit was crazy.
That shit was crazy.
I forgot about that.
Now, the fact that people are starting to shoot up these gaming tournaments, like, it's just the wildest shit that all these mass shootings are happening, and then they just aiming for like, kill yourself before you want to kill other people. Like, it's the wildest shit, but I get it. What ESPN's doing out of respect, some shit that should never happen, I guess, because you don't want to start having like armed fucking security at the door for a gaming tournament. Like, niggas is going there to play fucking Smash Brothers. You don't want niggas outside with like bulletproof vests on, AKs and fucking tanks and shit just to make sure niggas don't shoot the shit up.
Yeah,
I mean, that's too much of a risk, or that's too much of an investment just for some, I guess, some gaming shit. But I don't know, who knows? But stop shooting people. Stop mass shooting people. Yeah, shoot yourself before you want to kill people.
Yeah, shoot you, bitch.
Yeah, stop being angry at the world. Figure out why the fuck you angry.
I know why they angry.
Why?
Cause ain't no pussy.
Yeah.
Okay, so kill yourself.
Yeah.
100 virgins or some shit.
Or get some pussy.
Death. You can't when you that weird and
I mean,
that
nigga,
off the grid.
Buy it.
Yeah.
That's why they need to make this shit legal.
Yeah.
That's why they need to make prostitution illegal. And I'm not even saying that's right. You shouldn't.
Or you can just
because you're not getting on pussy doesn't mean you should shoot yourself or shoot other people. Just fucking figure your life out.
No,
it's not that serious.
It's not even just pussy. It's bullying too.
It is that.
Like,
but you ever get pussy before and just forget about everything?
Nah, that might be after the nut.
Yeah, dude. Like, you know what? I ain't that mad.
Forgot why I was mad at things.
All right, look.
Forgot why I was anxious.
But I'm saying that's not a reason to shoot people regardless.
Yeah, it's not.
Just because you're not getting no pussy doesn't mean you should be clapping niggas up. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, that's the dumbest thing in the world.
Who knows, man?
But yeah, make prostitution illegal. maybe that. No, I'm saying I know it's a joke, but like maybe that'll help curb something because some of these niggas maybe that's all they really need, and if they can do that like that, and they don't got to worry about getting arrested trying to pick up some bitch.
Or you could just start, the weird kid or the kid that seems to be a little off, start treating them like a motherfucking human because a lot of this shit, like I said, comes from bullying.
Too.
So a lot of y'all motherfuckers like to make fun of the kid that's a little awkward or
but
like
kids
a little
kids,
weird.
Man.
Yeah, but when are we going to start holding kids accountable for their actions? Because it's like when when you keep hearing about like kids across the country committing suicide and they're like 8 years old, 13 years old, or they barely know themselves, or you getting made fun of because you're gay, or you getting made fun of because you're a little off, or you don't like same thing that everybody else likes, and you go home and kill yourself. And they was like, oh, kids is being kids, they made fun of them, now this little kid is dead. When are we gonna start holding kids accountable?
I don't know.
Stop raising little assholes.
Kids are the parents.
I think I don't know. I don't have kids, so I think it's a wide range of all of that. It's stop raising little assholes, but stop raising fucking like
people may raise the assholes.
You can't raise a murderer. I don't think.
I mean, you can.
You probably can, but I don't think you I don't think you intentionally, unless you're that type of sick individual.
I also do. Me personally, feel like we gotta try to make kids a little tougher. I feel like we lost.
Yeah, but you gotta know which type of kids can take that shit. Because a lot of them kids that you try to make tough, you wind up pushing them away. You wind up ostracizing them. You wind up hurting them. You're not making them tougher. Like if you want to make them tougher, give them a lesson after. Don't just do some shit and don't explain it.
Yeah.
Like you gotta have a reason. Like give them a why I'm doing this, because I'm doing this because when you go out in the real world, people are gonna really treat you like this, and you have to be able to take that shit. People are gonna say some shit that you don't like, and you have to be able to take that shit, internalize it, not take offense to it. If you're just doing some shit just to do it, just like, oh, toughen up, little nigga. Why? Cuz. Like, that don't help. And then it's like, you know what? I'm mad because I keep getting picked on. I keep being told to be tough. And now I'm just going to take it out the best way I know how, which is I need to harm y'all because I'm hurt. Hurt people hurt people. So it's just the fact
I've
of...
never hurt one anyone in my life.
Lies. But it's just the fact that we need to learn how to talk to people and need to fucking, I guess, rethink how we raise kids or how we talk to kids, because the shit we doing now don't seem to be working all that good. So, I don't know. Ain't nothing in there.
Why you got it?
I lied. But,
you're right.
Let's see. Walmart pulls violent video game displays, but will still sell guns.
So I don't know how 100% accurate that is. I don't think it's from the limited information I have. I don't think it's Walmart in general. I think it was that Walmart in particular. So it wasn't like a corporate demand. It was like that whoever runs that Walmart particular was like, we're gonna remove the violent stuff. I don't think that's like a nationwide Walmart thing. I could be wrong about that. Well, either way. It doesn't fuck it. That's the wrong thing to do. Video games have nothing to do with fucking.
But was it a Walmart in the city that had the mass shooting?
Yeah, I think it was in El Paso. I think it was just that Walmart, not all Walmarts.
This is the thing, right? So we're not gonna blame the movies. We're not gonna blame TV. We're not gonna blame the copycat crimes with mass shootings. We're not gonna blame mental illness. We're gonna blame the video game.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto.
We have been doing the same song and dance for at least 25 years. I don't think you all right?
Yeah, that shit was stressful.
See now,
I don't know what's going on.
I don't.
We took a week off. I forgot how to drink.
I've never met a nigga that was playing Grand Theft and just looked at the world like, I think I can get 5 stars.
With that nigga in Philly,
I think I could do it. That nigga had all 5 stars. That nigga in Philly was awesome shit. Yeah. But
I agree with you. I think.
But why do they keep blaming video games for other obvious things though? Like,
so for me, the way I'm processing it, and again, I don't know, I think it's because out of all those other things, video games are interactive. You are the one who is perpetrating the violence on another character. Like if you read a book and violence happens, I read it. You see a movie, violence happens, you're just watching it. In a video game, you're the one actively doling out the actual violence. That being said, many studies have proven that video games do not lead to more violence. And I've been playing violent video games my whole life. I've never been in a fight.
That's more of a release than anything.
Yes, but that's their thought process on it. They're old people who never played a video game. They don't know shit about video games. They just see the violence and they assume, oh, you see the violence. Yeah, but so what makes a movie less violent than a video game, I'm assuming, is just because you actually play, like you're the one doing the violent act. Is my assumption. Is why they pin it on that versus movies.
Nigga, I've never played Mario.
It was like, I'm gonna jump on a turtle.
Went to a zoo and just started stomping out turtles.
Damn.
I like turtles.
I've never played Crash Bandicoot and looked at a box like, I'm gonna spin into it. Like, yo, video games is not the fucking cause.
You never
for
played
all this
Mario and ate a fucking mushroom.
shit. Yeah, like,
Well,
yo,
I mean, I ate a mushroom, but it wasn't because of Mario. Hey.
I'm gonna grow.
Speaking of which, who got mushrooms? Send me some.
But it's just the fact that we keep going for like the low hanging fruit, and it's just
Wait,
the
yes, I
easy.
did. Oh, fuck. Yes, I did.
Ate some shrooms?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, call your boy.
I
Yo.
did.
Some nigga hook me up with some shrooms. I want some shrooms.
You trying to
I
die.
want some acid. Well, I'm dead ass. Like, y'all laughing, but I'm just dead ass. I would give the nigga money for that shit.
You trying to end it like Chris Farley.
Yeah.
I didn't say heroin. I said mushrooms and or acid. Mild hallucinogenics.
Yeah.
I didn't
But
say
yeah,
I want to do Haran.
They keep doing this shit, and I don't know why.
I
Man.
didn't say I was
It's
going to
just-
smoke crack. Okay. I'm sorry. Continue.
I don't know what I was saying. I fucked up because you said some shit. But it's just the low hanging fruit, and niggas
Yes.
been doing the same shit for years. And I don't know why. When there's so much other shit that we can diagnose with these kids with whether it be depression, anxiety, just any other mental illness, anything that involves like them taking drugs, them getting counseling, them just something else. We always go to video games are causing this. We see this unrealistic thing, and we feel like we can actually do it in real life, or we feel like this is a plausible thing, or this is something that I can do to relieve my attention in real life, and it's just never the fucking case.
Yeah.
And it's just the video games have never been like there's a whole bunch of violent video games. It was probably I'm pretty sure there was mass shootings before Grand Theft came out. I'm pretty sure Columbine happened before Grand Theft came out.
Yeah. I think it did.
Columbine was like 01.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Grand Theft Auto
Grand Theft 3 came,
3 was probably out.
Grand Theft 3 came out when like 03, 4 when it got really popular. I think I was like 16 when it came out.
I mean, point being, there was Mortal Kombat existed. There was violent video. It was Mortal Kombat before anything.
Video games don't make the world violent.
No, it doesn't.
Unstable people make
the world
violent. It's
Yeah.
never been the cause of video games. But if that's what helps y'all sleep better at night, hey, do you? But
And how many of them people were in like any type of counseling?
And then it's like that's not the only place to shop for video games. So it's like, what are y'all putting a fucking Band-Aid on a bullet wound? Like it don't really.
It's. I mean, niggas is dumb. Like they're like, oh, if we take all the violent video game posters on this stuff again, no. It's
And
like,
then you have the
But we
internet.
still sell guns.
So it's like you can't see it. You can't physically see it in the store, but people still have the internet. People are gonna still hear from third parties. Your friends are gonna be talking about this game or this in school on Monday. So it's like, what do you really do? I mean, you doing your part. I get it. The shootings happen. You feel bad. You want to do something about it. This is your call to action. But
stop selling guns.
What is it really doing? But you're still selling guns.
Make it so you can't. So other people can't shoot other people.
What is the process for buying a gun in Walmart?
I think you walk up and say yes, and then walk out.
Uzi 9mm. That's what you do.
I've never brought a gun from Walmart. I'm pretty sure it's not that difficult.
Yeah, let me get the assault rifle. Oh, you going hunting?
Yes. I'm hunting something.
Yeah.
Like the Terminator. Hey, you can't do that. You can't load it.
Tell me what the fuck I can do.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing. You probably can't buy the gun and the bullets at the same time. I think it's probably the only fucking
There's not too many Walmarts that sell guns though.
here.
Oh,
Further south you go,
yeah.
more they do that shit. I'm pretty
Even,
sure.
that's
if
not.
you go
I don't
to
know. I think
Virginia-
don't all of Walmart sell guns?
No,
I don't.
it's not all of them.
I don't know.
The Walmart in
I
Stratford,
don't look for guns, nigga.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I go to Walmart,
That's not on my mind.
that's
I'm not even
on my
thinking about the
list.
guns.
I think they used to.
Everybody
They
in
don't
Stratford
no more.
already got guns.
In the 90s they used to, but they don't no more. They don't sell guns.
Well,
Like
everybody in Stratford already got guns, so they don't need to fucking sell
Past the
them.
Uzis, go right to the peanut butter. Oh shit, they got Jiffy on sale, nigga. They got a 9 on sale too.
Oh, they got Blickies on sale and Jiffy? Oh,
They got some Nutella?
Nutella.
Let's see. Xbox first party developers could release games on rival platforms. That shit. When I heard that shit, I was like, why?
To be clear, it's not everyone. It's
First party
Obsidian
Okay.
and this other one. I forgot the name of it. But at the same time, you're just asking for the disaster when you're doing that, because if you do that and this shit works, what makes you think that they're not gonna do it to other things?
I mean,
Like Gears of War being on PlayStation.
So I guess it depends. is Microsoft giving them permission or not? Because if it's a first party,
this is all contracts.
Yeah, so if Microsoft was like, oh well, you can't, then they can't, and then they just won't be able to. If it's a first party studio, which is the reason of, which is the point of first party studios, is they make games specifically for that console that they're or company that they're attached to. Yeah. So if I don't know what games are being allowed to go on other consoles, but so it might be like certain games, it might not even be their whole catalog. Maybe for certain games it might make sense, and maybe they're just trying something. And for Microsoft, to them, it's kind of a win-win to a certain extent, because if it sells well on PlayStation or whatever, they're still getting that money because they own that company. So any money they make off that game, Microsoft makes to a certain extent.
That's a risk.
It is a risk.
It's a big risk.
But I think
big reward.
But obviously, I think Microsoft is more open to being more connected to PlayStation than PlayStation is, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they're testing the waters to see how that works. Maybe because the consoles do the same exact thing basically at the same point. Yeah. They're basically the same shit. It's just one is shaped different than the other. It might be a good idea. It depends what the games are, and then we'll see. I
mean, I see what they're trying to do. The whole chess move. They're trying to. All right, let's say their game is a hit, right? But it's on PlayStation. Then like the sequel, they take it back. Like, gotcha, bitch.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Well, you gotta get Xbox to play this.
Something like that too. Yeah, see.
Yeah, it's kind of like what was it? Mass Effect. Mass Effect was for Xbox first.
Mm-hmm.
Then when Part 2 came out, it came for PlayStation. But they never. I don't know if they never had a chance to take it back or nothing like that, or the rights or anything. Or maybe the rights were just like, you know what, fuck it, we put it on everything.
Well, because it's a Bioware, you know.
Yeah, but that shit was really good and could have had something, but you gave it away.
Well, they still had it. I think most people associate. I think most people associate Mass Effect with Xbox more than they do PlayStation. I think so.
Mass Effect had more content on PlayStation though.
No, they added a little bit stuff.
They had a little bit more. I think they added a little bit more. If I'm not right. If I'm correct. I don't know. I'll switch to PlayStation after that.
PlayStation. It's all dead.
Yeah.
So let's see. An FCC filing for an SNES style controller hints to the games coming to Switch Online.
Oh shit! They getting some SNES shit
now.
Now,
if they start bringing SNES games to Switch,
for free,
for free, it's fucking lit.
Yeah.
Nigga, when I say it's lit, it's fucking lit, nigga.
Yeah.
Turtles in Time on Switch, nigga, online.
And you can play them shits online. Yo, you play Double Dragons 2 online. You remember I was asking you that shit? I was like, yo, they got Double Dragons 2 up here?
Yo,
play shit online?
Dog, if you could play that shit online, you can play fucking Battletoads and Double Dragons online.
Yeah.
If you could play a lot, you could play Kirby online. It's a lot of shit you could play on. Yo,
Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Oh my god. Yeah, man, this shit. I mean, if they decide to make that type of move, it'll be big, but is there a high risk, high reward thing, or is it?
No, I think it's all reward.
Yeah, I don't think there's any real risk in it. Yeah, it's free and they're just selling games. I'm sure.
Yeah, but are they going to sell to the general consumer? Because
that's very niche. That's for old niggas like us.
Yeah,
so
Switches.
I think there's a reason why they're doing this. The free shit, like the whole NES catalog. Like most of the shit they put out is free. Like all this shit is free. I think they're really starting to cut down on this bootlegging shit. They trying to stop that shit. Period.
Oh, the ROM emulator.
I think that's why they're doing this shit. Now I wish PlayStation would do the same thing with PlayStation shit.
He's like, nah, dog, fuck y'all.
Shit, I think
they might.
I think all that shit about to be backwards compatible. All that PlayStation Store shit about to go up. I don't know, man. You never know. If you done saved all your games from PlayStation 2 and all that shit, and if you get this new PlayStation 5 and all that shit's backwards compatible, fucking game changers.
In a perfect world, if PlayStation 5 did the same thing that Switch is about to do, like they started with the PlayStation and started giving you PlayStation shit for free that you were just streaming, would you fuck with it?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's a way to cut back on the bootlegging. And the ROM emulators, like you don't need it. We already got it. We got it for free at that.
And that's a big business that they just never thought. Well, I don't know if they never thought of taking that over, but they never jumped on the opportunity to for some reason. I don't know. Maybe they was concerned with like, oh, a lot of y'all niggas don't like this old shit. Like, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
It's a lot of old niggas that still remember the fucking Sega and the SNES and the Dreamcast and then the regular Nintendo. It's like, yo, we still want to play this old shit today.
Shit, Mega Man Legends was my shit.
Nigga, I played Toe Jam and Earl last week. Put that shit on fucking something. But
I'm with it.
Yeah, Power Stone producer is down to make another installment for Switch.
About fucking time, nigga.
But you got Smash.
Yeah,
but the Power Stone is different.
Power Stone.
It's different.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Because you got the different layers and levels, and you got to collect the stones and digivolve. And, I don't know. It's a little different.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. The only thing is different is that you got to collect stones, but it's still the same thing with the boss fights. It's still the same thing with the knocking niggas off stage or fucking niggas up. It's like
I don't know.
It's
It's
the
still
same
different
thing.
in my head.
I understand why you would think that though.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's like the same.
It's 3-dimensional though.
Yeah, it is 3-dimensional,
It's
but
different.
I mean, it could work, but it would have to be like a Power Stone reboot type of thing. Like you would have to introduce this to a whole new audience.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be like a reboot. Put some new characters in it. Put my nigga Goku back in that bitch, and then keep it moving.
Goku. Wong Tang?
Yeah.
With the Genki Dama?
What is with the fucking spirit bomb in these niggas?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I used to fuck niggas up with that.
Yeah,
yo.
man, this shit was fun, dog.
Yo, what's up with some Power Stone, yo?
It's coming.
I'm with it.
Told you, man.
Yo,
Told you.
what the fuck y'all niggas
Got
up?
it.
I almost won.
Almost doesn't count.
Almost.
Yeah, I almost won.
Almost doesn't
I
count.
watched that shit today. I almost won.
Yo, these niggas
Yo,
was like,
I think I
these
cheated.
You did.
niggas- You did.
You did.
No, but I didn't know because I paused it. I was just surprised.
You paused it in mid-action.
Yeah.
I think you would have been done.
Nah, cause that nigga fucking. I was like,
Bang! Spun that nigga.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, niggas was like, yo, Hesh is getting good with this thing.
Well, that particular game, I was doing.
Nah,
all right.
you was going in. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
doing all
this
right.
nigga won 2 in a row.
Yeah, I was doing all right. I was trying to win, nigga. I was trying to win.
Yeah.
Trying to do it for the culture.
Coach said, nah, though.
It did. like most things in my life, it denied me.
Okay. So, it's fucked up. So, Gene Simmons is aware that Obstagoon looks strikingly similar to him. And now,
What was that bullshit they try to run by? UK rock or some shit?
yeah, like they base it off of 80s
Punk rock or some shit.
punk rock in the UK, and it was like, yo, everybody dressed like this with the the spiky hair and like that. But when I saw this shit with the tongue out and the star, I was like, yo,
that's Gene
this
Simmons.
nigga looks just like a Kiss band member. But I guess that's what you have to do.
Have to do
Not to get sued.
Sell the game, but you know,
I mean, you don't,
If
but-
Gene Simmons wants to,
Is he trying to sue them niggas for that?
he should.
I don't think
I don't
he
see
will.
why not.
He shouldn't. It's a video game. Have fun. Relax.
If his face paint is trademarked,
It is.
man, the tongue and shit like that.
You
like,
cannot
hey,
trademark your tongue. I don't give a fuck what you say to me.
It's your likeness, son.
It's a tongue, nigga.
Hey, it's your likeness, man.
The face paint, I'll give you. The tongue, all right.
The tongue just solidified it. I was like, oh, okay.
All
Come
right,
on,
well,
man.
I mean, it's a badger.
Nigga look hot, though.
It's
I
a
ain't gonna
badger.
lie.
Badger's got long tongues.
Look
nigga.
hot. I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm gonna be hesh ass with that nigga, so it don't really matter.
Obstagoon.
Yeah.
You even like his name, Obstagoon.
All right, nigga. Make sure you got obstacle in your team.
Yeah. Nah, cause you gonna put some shit in your team that's gonna fucking fuck my obstacle up.
Nah, make sure you got obstacle. I'm gonna fucking put a robo flavor in that.
That's
bitch.
a horrible flavor. But that's a normal Pokemon. You should be straight.
Yeah, I'm
I don't
fucking
think it has any
curve stop.
weaknesses.
Oh, that shit come out soon too. Damn.
Yeah.
What?
Pokemon.
Yeah, come on November.
Oh shit.
They getting lazy though.
Yeah.
I gotta get fucking ready.
Better, nigga. So
you getting into this time, Bobby?
I don't know.
Come on, Bobby. You gotta get it so we
You need
can
everything,
do
though.
3 on throws. You don't need everything. You need Pokemans and then what else?
Yeah.
That's it.
I just hate that they got lazy.
I mean, what?
Like, oh, it's hard to do the 3D animation. It's harder
not.
than pixels.
I'm telling you, they're just gonna charge you for that shit.
That was full bullshit, but
Yeah, full blown bullshit.
whatever though. So let's see. Titans season 2 trailer.
Sure.
Liddy 2 Titty.
I am conflicted and confused
Why?
because they just like time skipped a little bit, like they
Oh,
just
these niggas
because the way it
wrong,
ended, the last episode ended,
Yeah.
and it just showing shit like okay, so they just down the Titans and like the Titans was a thing and like okay,
I mean, I'm pretty
guess.
sure they just showing us like the good parts of the
Yeah.
season.
I know.
I'm pretty sure they're going
Because you can't beat Trigon. You really can't beat Trigon.
Yeah.
Oh, is it all a dream thing? Well, they have to beat the nigga.
I'm pretty sure something happens,
send
but
him
I
back
don't
to
think he's
some-
defeated. It's just,
I
I'm
mean, because Raven, because Raven got the gym, yeah, so maybe she like trapped the nigga in the diamond in her forehead, like she's trapped in the closet, she's trapped in the diamond. It's like, it's something.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots. So Dark Phoenix, 170 million flop leads Fox Films to X mini projects.
It's like, oh damn, you fucked up. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What you want to say? It was bad. It's bad. It didn't do well. It didn't perform well, and I did not enjoy it. I don't think anyone in this room enjoyed it.
Yeah. I didn't think that the number was that low, though, for US.
Yeah.
It was like 65 million or something like that.
Yeah, it's like the
I was
lowest
like, God
X-Men.
damn, nigga.
Lowest X-Men thing movie out of all the movies. Lower than Wolverine Origins, lower than fucking...
How's it lower than Wolverine Origins? That's
how bad that shit did. That's crazy.
That's wild. They're even having doubts about New Mutants. They like, did we really put this shit out?
Yeah, I'm telling you, that shit's gonna end up on like Hulu now that they're fucking gonna do that shit. It's gonna be on like Disney Plus.
Yeah, you might be right. You call that shit long ass time.
Just turn on that shit one day. It's gonna be up there like, oh
right.
shit, look at New Mutants. Go watch that shit.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we got it.
Because if this shit did bad, just imagine what this shit gonna do.
I know.
Damn.
I don't know. It sucks because I wanted the movie to be decent, I guess. But I don't know. It's one of the things that's like, we knew that Disney was getting all this shit anyway, so damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I didn't want the movie to be like a train wreck, even though it kind of was like a train wreck.
And the
There's a train wreck. Yeah. And it was an actual train wreck in the movie. Oh,
God,
shit.
dude.
Shit's fucking funny.
That's crazy.
Shout out to X-Men, though.
Shout out to X-Men. Shit, in like, what, 5 years?
Yeah, well,
Shout out to niggas in 5 years.
Yeah, that's the only fucking thing. Now we got to wait like 5 years before we get some new shit.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, did you hear New Mutants? Disney is having doubts about this shit, and it might go to Hulu, like I said.
I mean, I thought I heard some shit that they wasn't even planning on putting that shit out like at all.
Oh,
yeah, they might not.
Yeah, they was like, yo, we thinking this shit over, and we just might not ever put the shit out. Like this shit is just too fucked up for us to even like show to people. Having fun, niggas.
Fucking that bottle up.
The point.
But let's see, what's the next topic? So Andy Serkis closes deal to direct Venom 2.
Yeah,
I'm with it. I like Andy Serkis. He's a decent director, I think.
Yeah, that's the dude who did Smeagol.
Yeah, it's Gollum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Claw.
Yeah, so
Claw.
he knows.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he knows.
He knows both sides. He knows to be an actor.
He knows how to do.
And
talk to yourself and do shit like that.
Like
precious. Yeah.
But you know, I just want to know that the direction that this is going to be like extra violent now.
I don't think it's gonna be a comedy.
But it can't be if you're gonna introduce Carnage. And they said that Carnage was supposed to be the villain for Venom 2.
Yeah.
Like you can't introduce the nigga then not have him in the movie. So
yeah.
I would hope it's gonna be like some blood, guts, and gore. So
it's gotta be violent as shite.
So let's see. Noah Hawley says the Doctor Doom script is done.
Yeah.
So we getting a Doctor Doom movie?
Yep.
Yeah, he's working on the movie. Yeah.
Ooh,
I think that's the guy who does Legion, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I'm with it.
I like the idea of it. Obviously, I'm concerned because everything we've gotten Fantastic Four related has not been the greatest. So the idea of it, I am super excited about, and I like what I've saw of Legion, so I trust the person who's behind it. But obviously, it's a wait and see type of thing. And I don't think we have any casting information or anything like that yet, right? That I remember.
No.
So I don't even know if they have a director. I think just the script is done, which is fine. Start small. Mm-hmm. Make sure that's good. Tight. Make the script good. Pick the right people for it, and hopefully it'll be a good shit.
All right. And Marvel announces new Marvel's podcast. The voice includes Method Man as Ben Ulrich, Ethan Peck as Mr. Fantastic, and Anna Sophia as Robbie. No, what? Anna Sophia Robbie as Marcia Hard something. Hardesty. Hardesty. I can't read.
Yeah, girls, I'm hard something.
What? Sick as shit. So
I made one bad joke the whole time.
Damn. So this is gonna be like whatchamacallit?
But Wolverine shit?
Yeah, Wolverine a Long Night.
Yeah. Like,
so it's gonna be like a episodical podcast thing. What?
I'm gonna save it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it, but I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to take his joke.
What? Who gonna play Redman?
Yeah.
You gotta let that shit go, yo.
Nah, that shit was dumb. Can't let it go.
Nah, but this is the thing, though. This is the thing that really got me upset. Because I was like, damn, like, what the fuck did I say? Then I found out what I said.
Yeah.
Then I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, how long did the conversation go? That shit was only in 4 seconds.
Yeah, I know. That was like way in the beginning of the shit.
It wasn't even like I doubled down on it. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, I know. But
And I didn't even mean it like I said it. I know. Like, oh, okay, all right.
But it's the internet.
Like I meant meant it the same way how in Straight Outta Compton, Snoop Dogg's in it.
Yeah.
I meant it like that, but it was like, you know, GM Studios like the fucking Twilight Zone, so it's like, you say some shit, just go to the next.
It's the internet, nigga. Like, you know, niggas on the internet can't help themselves.
Yeah,
like,
these niggas just
my
upset.
God,
I'm like,
he
God
said
damn.
Redman.
I just remember who played Snoop, yo.
Oh, Lakeith.
Lakeith Stanfield.
Oh, Lakeith Stanfield plays Snoop?
Yeah.
Shout out to that nigga.
Yeah, now, I never want fans like that. They'll just jump on people, be mad like that.
Oh, you're gonna get him.
Like, goddamn, nigga.
Yeah, be kind to people.
But Marvel announces new Marvel's podcast. I'm with it though, but it's a Marvel podcast about what? Like, what is the?
I'm not sure.
I guess the whole just Marvel.
Yeah, I didn't listen to The Long Night, but from what I was...
You didn't listen to The Long Night?
No, but I heard it's really good.
You gotta
that's what I was gonna say.
listen to that shit.
Yeah, it's one of the things I meant to do, and I just never went back and did it. Because I wanted to wait until it was all of them were out, and then listen to it all as one thing. I never did. But I don't know. I know Ben Urich is like the news reporter type of dude that was like in Daredevil. He's the one, the black dude with glasses. That the white girl that got killed. Yeah. So I'm sure maybe he's gonna be dealing with some type of investigation type of thing or some shit like that probably. So I'm intrigued, obviously, and if it's the same quality as the Long Night type of shit, it's probably gonna be really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with it.
All right. So that's it for topics.
I believe so.
All right. Yeah. So we have an interview that's gonna go right here, probably in the description. So you can go ahead and get to that right now. All right, so Three Ninjas Podcast, Domino, Hess, Jones, Bobby. And right now we have on the phone, we have writer, actress, comedian, and the first Disney character to appear on our goddamn show. We have Dani Fernandez on the phone.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm looking at my Disney character right now. I have like a picture of her in my living room. So anytime I get down, I'm like, I am a damn Disney character.
Goddamn Disney character. Now, my first thing is, how did that call go? Like, how did you get this role? And well, just to let everyone know, she was in Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
All right. Now, how did you get that call, or what happened? How did you get that role?
Yeah, well, some of the Disney people follow me on Twitter, which is both awesome and also frightening,
right?
Because I'm in comedy and I'm never not myself. But you know, if you think of it, because like some people will be like, "How are you a Disney character?" I literally, you know, I post about my sex life in a funny way, but you know, I'm a millennial. I joke about everything around me, but also like, you know, Sarah Silverman's Vanellope, so
right.
You know, there, you know, John C. Reilly has, I don't know what you're allowed to say on here, but I'm like, John C. Reilly has literally
say
like
everything.
Anything and everything is allowed on the show.
It is all allowed.
Okay. Well, no, I was gonna say John C. Reilly is literally like teabagged Will Ferrell. So let's
that's true.
you
I
know,
forgot about that.
he's Ralph. So I think it's chill. You know, I think hopefully people can disconnect like the adult comedies from like family comedies. And but yeah, so I have a lot of Disney people that follow me, and some of them reached out and were like, hey, do you want to be, because I host at a lot of different places. So I host at Nerdist, I've hosted for E, I've hosted for Geek and Sundry. I've been on Screen Junkies Collider, like a lot of those nerdy news channels, SourceFed. And in Ralph Breaks the Internet, they wanted real life people from the internet. So they got real life gamers, real life hosts to play themselves. So they hit me up and were like, hey, do you want to play Rich Moore, who directed Ralph, was like, hey, do you want to play yourself? Or he was like, hey, do you want to play a host in a movie about video games and the internet? And I knew it was Ralph. And then they were like, is it okay? They kept messaging me like, hey, is it okay if it's like based on you, that she like kind of looks like you? And then by the final iteration, they were like, is it okay if she's literally you? So, and I came in, which was great, to the Disney Animation Studios that are in Burbank. I came in and their walls at the time were still decked out with Moana. That was really cool. Like all of the original artwork. Came in and I read my script for my host character, who she plays a host at BuzzTube, which was like Taraji P. Henson's like was the head algorithm there. Yeah. And it was like making fun of BuzzFeed essentially, which is like the only place I haven't hosted at. I was like, so I'm taking shots at BuzzFeed. Hopefully they don't make a listicle about me.
Right.
And like most problematic or whatever tweets or whatever, it's just me talking about eating ass or something. I don't know. And she shouldn't be a Disney character. I was just like, I was honestly nervous about that. And then I came in and I did my script, and then they were like, how would you say this? How do you do it? And I'd be like, oh, well, you know, hey, welcome to Nerdist. I'm Dani Fernandez. And they were like, oh, do that. So I did that, and that's how I got to say like my name and be like, hey, welcome to, you know, Up to the Meeman or whatever is the thing. I'm Dani Fernandez. And they just kept that take. I did a bunch of different takes, and I didn't tell anyone about it because I was afraid it was going to get cut out. Okay. And I'm in this Disney movie, and then like I was in scene or something. So I just kept it quiet until it was like official when they like, at New York Comic Con, I hosted the Ralph panel, and they like showed my scene at the panel. So then I was like told everyone about it. But yeah.
Okay. Now at that point, did you feel like that you made it? Like you were at the height of your career at that point?
Not when I recorded it, because nobody knew. And like, again, because I was like, oh, this could get cut.
But when you actually saw it on screen, it's like, oh, the world is seeing this now.
Yeah, I guess at New York Comic Con, you know, I tried to take in the moments as I could. It was a lot of pressure. There were like 1,000 people in the room. There were Disney, like, you know, executives and head of marketing, whatever, that were in there. I was up there with the filmmakers, Rich Phil and Josie Trinidad, who was a storyboard artist. And so it's hard to actually enjoy those moments because you just want to do well. So it's like, you know, I'm moderating it. You're joking on the fly. You're making everyone feel comfortable. You're asking them the questions. You're remembering the next thing that's coming up. Like, cause we were showing them a lot of never before seen footage. It's like, you know, so it's hard to like take in to actually be like, enjoy that moment. You know, I'm in therapy and I try to clock, I try to teach myself how to clock moments. So I'm not just like racing through life and like actually being in the moment. So I would say afterwards, I did such a good job on the panel that they asked me to do press. So that was a moment where I felt like Johnny Carson, when you're like a comedian, you do so well, he asked you to be on the couch, because I wasn't slated to do press at all. Like I was done, but they were, I think because it was so funny and great, they were like, hey, do you want to stick around and do a bunch of press? So I was being interviewed by a bunch of different outlets. I had a lot of people coming up to me and asking for my autograph. And that was the moment that I was like, this was one of the most fun days of my life. But when you're in it, you're trying to just not mess up, essentially. So it's really hard to clock those moments and really enjoy them.
Okay. Now, what's your definition of success to you?
I would say doing something that you love and enjoying something that you love. And honestly, to me, this is so cliche, but I know so few people that are actually happy. So I feel like being happy is a flex.
Right.
Like you can like not be doing. I know people that are like millionaires that are miserable, and they just like read all the comments people write about them, and they just like hate their lives, and they're so competitive. And I think like if you're just happy, you could easily flex on that person and not even have that much money. So to me, that's being successful. I think doing what you love. Like I was talking to my little brother, and he's still trying to figure out what he wants to do. And he was like, well, I think I might go into this computer thing and do computer science, which I think is a great career. But he was like, I want to do it just because I need a 401k and like I need to have retirement. I'm like, what? You want to waste your whole life you want to waste your entire youth doing something you don't actually want to do just so you have retirement so that you can have money when you're older? I was like, what do you actually want to do? And he's like, well, I want to be a chef. But like, I'm like, then do that. Like, that's absurd that like we ingrain it into people's heads that they have to do something that they don't love just so that they can retire with money. And I'm like, but also what if you marry someone that has like that steady, like you don't know the future. You don't know, maybe you'll open up a restaurant and you'll have retirement money. Like just, you have to do something that you're passionate about. It just made me sad to hear that I think a lot of people feel that way.
You know what that reminded me of, that Kanye skit? You know what I have to keep me warm? My degrees.
That's true. But I mean, and I'm not just like, whenever people ask me about going into entertainment, I'm like, do not quit your day job.
Right.
That's like the quickest way I think to get knocked out. Your day job allows you to live so that allows you to pay your rent so that on the weekends you can pursue your creative life, or on the nighttime. And then eventually, hopefully you rack up enough credits or a resume or whatever that you can move full time. But my friend Sarah Benincasa wrote a book called Real Artists Have Day Jobs. And I really recommend it for anyone that is trying to do both, because I think it's really scary when people are like, just quit your job, follow your dreams. I'm like,
we was just talking about that. Yeah, we were.
Follow your dreams, but do it smart, So, yeah.
Now, let's get into your business. Now, Dani, where are you from?
My family's from San Diego and Texas. So I'm from both. I'm from Southern California and Texas. I grew up, I was in Southern California until I was about 12. It's where my parents were born and raised in San Diego. And then my dad moved us to Texas when I was like 12 or 13. And I was there until after college. So it's really interesting because it's like these really formidable years of mine. It's hard to pick which one I'm more connected to. I would say my heart, the softness of me, I think comes from Texas, because I think there's a lot of areas of, I would be a different girl. I think maybe because I lived in Orange County for a while, and that is really unfriendly in my opinion.
Right.
So, also really funny because both areas are like rich, white, conservative, just people that own boats essentially. And so they're not that different. Like San Diego actually isn't that different than Texas. And my family's Mexican, so both have a lot of that community there. But also like a lot of clashing of cultures in both those areas. So yeah, it's hard to pick which one I would say I'm more like.
Now, when did you decide that you wanted to get in the entertainment industry? Because I read somewhere that you were in medicine before and you just switched over to entertainment. Like, where does that switch come about?
Well, when I was in, when I was in high school, I was a creative, in creative writing. I think I got published actually in like one of those teen magazines. I used to write poems and was like so angsty. Like if you went to my MySpace, I'm sure it had like My Chemical Romance or something on it.
Jesus Christ.
And, well, I mean, also anime nerds, because I'm a huge anime nerd, but weebs are very angsty. They're very much like, you know what I mean? It's like the super dramatic, like Attack on Titan, like that's how I was, I think. I had a mixture of that in high school. I used to also write fan fiction. So I was like on fanfiction.net constantly. So yeah, I was like, had that angsty weeb-ish era. And, I ended up going into broadcast journalism. So I did want to do entertainment in some regard. But at UT, where I went to school at the University of Texas, they only take like a certain amount of people in broadcast journalism because they actually place you at a station. So you have to like be in Lubbock, Texas or something, like, butt fuck nowhere doing the weather or doing like the work, and also Texas politics suck ass. I'm going to be honest. It sucks ass. And so some of the reports we had to do, I'm like, I do not want to talk to my senator about this. And so I needed a way to make money in college, and I went into personal training. We had a really nice, one thing about being in Texas, well, anywhere, any college, is that all the money goes to sports, to be honest. All the money goes to sports. It was really funny because we'd have like our football players, like the Longhorns would be in my class, and they're just in like Nike track, like, like different suits per day. I remember one of the players was like, yeah, the school pays for my books. And I was like, no, I pay for your books. We here in this classroom pay for your books.
You better go for 100 yards.
Put some horns. But yeah, so I was I went into personal training. It was a lot of fun. A bunch of my friends were doing it. Plus you got to like work out with the athletes. And then I just moved that to my career. So I ended up working in a hospital because I worked in physical therapy. But it was rough. It was working in a hospital people die, like straight up people would die like every day. And I'm like, this is not like working out at your school gym.
Right.
And it wasn't meant for me because there were people that really loved doing it. They would wake up and they were so excited to go work at the hospital. And I just hated being there.
I think Tom's going to kick the bucket today.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there is a level of respect, obviously, when you work in that field. And, I remember I got pulled over once and I was in my scrubs and they like let me off. And I'm like, I'm only a physical therapist, but sure.
Little do you know.
Like I think I had all my textbooks and stuff in my other seat. And it was like, I was so exhausted, I think, too. They were like, I don't even think I had paid attention. I got pulled, but I was in my scrubs and I was like, oh, great. So, there was like, oh, she's a nurse or she's a, doctor or whatever. She's going to surgery right now.
Right.
Like, no, I'm just helping someone that is trying to walk or whatever. But yeah, so I ended up kind of spiraling after that. I had gotten married once I got graduated and I dated the guy for 5 years and that's what you do in Texas. It's like you graduate, you get married, you
get your shotguns and have a wedding.
Yeah, there you go. You go to Whataburger, or hopefully like try and get them to sponsor it in some way. And yeah, so I had gotten married really young and my life was just spiraling out of control. I didn't love my job. I liked my husband, but we didn't. We weren't going.
Wow.
He was all right.
We weren't. No, I mean,
He was all right.
This is okay. I loved him as a person. I still think he's a really good person, but we weren't going in the same direction. We didn't want the same things, and I really wanted to be a writer. I knew that wasn't like a viable. It didn't feel like a viable option in that situation that I was in. And kind of like how my little brother was, you're just so trained to be like, no, you need to do the thing that's going to make money, the stable thing. You can't do the creative thing. So I started to write and I had a really dark sense of humor. It was also the time when like Twitter was really coming up. So I was just writing the darkest, funniest shit on there. And the comedians that followed me, some of them to this day are still my mentors. One would be Roy Wood Jr., who's on The Daily Show. One of my biggest mentors. And he was like, you're really funny. Neil Brennan was another one. People that were just like,
show, right?
Yeah. He co-created Chappelle Show. Great. Like just, people that were like, have you tried doing this on stage? I think also people were like, are you okay? That was normally the first thing I was like, are you okay? What's going on? And then it was like, this is really funny.
Ask my co-host that all the time. Like, yo, you okay, bro? You need to talk? You need a hug, man?
Yeah, of course, all the time.
And then I started to do it on stage. Yeah, I started to do stand-up. I had a writer, a successful television writer that called me and was like, you will regret. You have such a funny, unique voice. I think you're going to regret if you don't try this. And so I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. I also had a bunch of people in LA that were like, hey, come out here. You can work as a PA or a assistant. Let me tell you something. I tell people this all the time. Don't bank on those jobs. When I got to LA, it was like all of a sudden it was all those jobs that were promised to me were gone. And I was like, ass. It was, but I ended up I responded to a Craigslist ad the first week I was in town and got a job at the Ice House Comedy Club, which was at the time, I think it still is, but it was Joe Rogan's home club. I saw Marin there all the time, and it was just like Kevin Hart would come in. Joe was very nice, very great comedian. But so I was around these comedians, and when I was done with my shift, essentially just got to sit back and watch them work. And one of my mentors, Brad Williams, very funny guy. I met like my first weekend I worked there. So long story short, I kind of just took a leap. I also drove my resume to the Ice House. It's like 45 minutes from where I lived in LA. And I knew if I just responded on Craigslist, it wasn't enough. I wanted them to see me. I wanted them to be around me, and I just wanted the job so badly. And they said like 200 people applied, and they gave it to me. So I was glad that I had gone in person and made a difference. But it's like little things like that I think it's like 90% where you're at, and then like just 10% a little bit of luck. I think there's like a little element of luck to every, I think, success story out here.
Okay.
So
you leave Texas, you go to LA on a whim, basically. Now, when do you actually feel like you're in LA for the right reasons and you're doing something that you're meant to be doing?
So I moved here in 2013, October 2013. It wasn't until 2014 that the first year, you're just trying to survive. I was a nanny, so I would work all day as a nanny, get off, then drive 45 minutes to the ice house to work the door until 1 a.m. So you don't even have time to do it. I didn't have time to perform. I didn't have time to write. I just was trying to survive and pay my bills. And I got a break, luckily, in 2014 where one of those like listicle sites that they were really big, you know, like BuzzFeed and stuff, and College Humor is more than that. But yeah, essentially those hit me up about writing for them. So that became my full-time job, was working in an office with other like funny writers who were way better than they've all gone on to, like, one of them writes for like Cartoon Network, another got his own show. It was like, but we all needed money at the time. So we're all just like this little incubating, like writing 28 bridesmaid fails, you know? And I also asked him to like take my name off of all of them. The dumb shit I did, it was like, like 13 celebrities named Chad, number 8.
Chadwick Boseman.
Shit like that they made us do. And but to be fair, like, you know, it was great because I was around these poor struggling writers who were way better than this fucking site. But that wasn't until I felt like, okay, I'm actually able to do something in comedy in this world. The first year, everyone says, is the hardest year. Move to LA or you move to New York or whatever, like you're in that creative city space. It is rough. I thought that I was gonna die. I just literally, I was scarily poor. I was like, you know, you when you're poor, you take a lot of risks.
Yeah. Jumping turnstiles and, you know, hiding in bathrooms on the train.
Eating food. I'm like, I don't know where this has been, but, you know, like just the ice house.
Cheeseburgers, man.
Cheeseburgers,
the ice house was so concerned for me. They would send me home with food, like, from the kitchen. So they became like my family, my comedy family. And the comedy community really does look out for each other out here. They're a little, you know, they can be petty at times and catty, but like if somebody is, you know, sending death threats or going after a comedian, like everybody jumps on board to protect them. And I felt like for me, when I was really struggling, there's so many other people in the trenches with you. So we're all just trying to make it and really looking out for each other. So that was a blessing to be in this particular community.
Okay. Now, when do you get your first big break?
I guess one of my first big breaks was Geek and Sundry hit me up. They were partnering with Funimation, and Funimation owns like 500 anime titles like Dragon Ball Z, Attack on Titan, not One Punch Man, but One Piece. And My Hero Academia. They own so much. And I honestly like created my Twitter account. One of the big reasons was to follow them, and they followed me back, and I think they were like, oh, this chick tweets about DBZ constantly. And I hit them up because I wanted to go to SDCC. I wanted to go to San Diego Comic-Con, and my you know, I have family in San Diego, and I'd been there before, and I asked them if they needed help at Comic-Con, and they said yeah. Which I don't know if you can do this to companies anymore, but, you know, back in the day, it was like they, you know, needed help. They need an extra set of hands. I would hand out t-shirts, whatever they wanted me to do. I just wanted to be a part of it. I just wanted to be close to them.
Right.
And they ended up giving me a mic and a camera guy just to interview cosplayers on the floor. So that was, I don't know if you can hear. There's like a helicopter.
Oh no,
outside.
I don't hear it. No.
Okay, perfect. It might get really. Yeah. So anyway, so I ended up hosting with them. They gave me my first hosting gig, which was essentially me just running around asking people about their Yoda cosplay or whatever. and then Geek and Sundry needed a co-host for this anime series they were doing, and Funimation was like, "Oh, we know somebody." And so they put my name in, and it was with Xavier Woods from WWE. And we were teaching anime to people. Like, if you love X-Men, you'll love My Hero Academia or whatever. And it was partnered with Funimation. So I think that was a break because it allowed me to use that in other hosting stuff to be like, oh, here, I hosted my own show at Geek and Sundry. So I would say that was a big break, because then what ended up happening was I got my own shows at Nerdist, which is their bigger sister company. And then that kind of just spiraled into a lot of the other stuff that I got.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. So now, because of your love for Dragon Ball Z, you started your own podcast called Krillin' It.
Yeah.
Right.
Krillin' It.
and you started that with Iffy. Now, how did that come about? Well, how did you meet Iffy?
Iffy and I met at a show called Tournament of Nerds, which is a show at UCB that they have every month where you are characters roast battling each other, essentially. Oh. And I was Carmen Sandiego battling Harley Quinn. And I forgot what Iffy was. Iffy just shows, Iffy's different. We're like have very different styles. I have to write out all my jokes.
Right.
Iffy is more of a character actor where he just plays the character. And me, I try to play like the roast. We were talking about this yesterday because he had a Tournament of Nerds yesterday. But yeah, so essentially, you never know what you're going to bet. It's like the Care Bears versus Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone or whatever. It's like that. It's like the most randomest shit. And it's so funny. If anyone is ever in LA when they're doing one, it's hilarious. And then they have like celebrity judges like Colin Hanks or something, or WWE people. And so we met there because I was competing and he was competing. And then we realized we were like the only ones. It's changed since then, but this was about like 5 years ago. We realized we were the only ones on Facebook constantly posting anime jokes. And so I wanted to start a DBZ podcast. And if he hit me up like, hey, do you want to do a DBZ podcast? And I was like, yeah, we should call it Krillin' It, like as a joke. And then he was like, okay. And then he like made our thing Krillin' It. So, and then everyone thought that we were big Krillin fans. That was the most hilarious part.
Right.
Is everyone come on like, well, y'all's favorite is Krillin, right?
Who the fuck is a fan of Krillin?
Krillin's the shit, man.
Well, there's a lot of Krillin heads. I think people relate to him.
Yeah.
Because he's normal. Like, I think people relate to like, oh yeah, I would be the loser out of like Goku, Vegeta, Gohan. Like, I would be the one that dies first.
Oh, you mean Yamcha?
Yamcha, right? Yeah.
Yamcha too, Yamcha. But I think people relate to Krillin because like they feel a deep soul connection to him.
Yeah. Now you also have another podcast. Well, that one didn't make it. Now you have another podcast called Nerdificent.
Yeah.
Which is like a nerdy deep dive, subject by subject, about past, present, and future fandoms, I want to say.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So how did you guys come up with that concept where it was like, I want to talk about just everything nerdy and geeky?
Yeah, so we knew Jack O'Brien, who's one of the heads of the comedy division at How Stuff Works, which got bought by iHeartRadio. He was at Cracked, and Iffy and I had both done stuff at Cracked, and he hit us up and was like, hey, I'm now developing stuff for How Stuff Works, and do you guys want to do a podcast? So we were still doing Krillin' It, but they were like, hey, we want you to come do a podcast for us. Can it not just be about anime? We're like, can you do something that like is broader for a broader audience? And we're like, sure. So that's what happened. We did a pilot episode about Comic-Con, just teaching people about the history of Comic-Con and where it's going. And they loved it. And so then they signed us on. And then How Stuff Works got bought by iHeart. So now we're at iHeartRadio. But yeah, it's the hardest part about that show is that everyone wants to be on it, but not everyone. I think people think that it's just a casual podcasts. Like, oh yeah,
I've watched Charmed before. I've watched. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I was like, I've watched Dexter's Laboratory. I'm like, okay, but can you teach thousands of listeners about? Because that's what I think they don't quite understand. And people just want to like come on and plug their stuff, and they don't realize that it's actually like you have to know your shit. And it's a lot of times stuff like Iffy and I have way past we've like gone past what we know. That was like the first year of doing that podcast, was picking the subject we know. So now we're in territory of picking things that we don't watch, but we want our followers to still be able to hear from an educated, passionate person about them. And so sometimes people will come on and I don't think they really take it. One of our friends, Malcolm Barrett, hilarious. He's on The Boys show that's on Amazon. He's on Preacher, Timeless, like everything. He hit us up about being on it. And then he laughed because I think on the show he was like, yeah, and they told me this is a real podcast.
What the fuck is that?
And so I was like, essentially I was like, don't, you can't just come on here and be like, yeah, I've seen Street Sharks a little bit, because he wanted to do Street Sharks. So he
that's funny.
So funny. He actually, I love him. He's like one of the busiest people I know. He went back and like watched the whole first series so that when he came on, he could like name all the characters, talk about their history, and yeah.
Right.
So I love that about him. But yeah, sometimes we'll get people like, oh yeah, I've seen One Punch Man or whatever, and want to come on and, just give the basics for it. But
what do you really know
following,
about it?
Yeah, I think our following is they're more serious nerds, I guess. And so they'll definitely correct us if we get something wrong.
Oh, 100%.
Facts.
Now, I was listening to an episode of Nerdificent, and I think you said, I'm paraphrasing, that you said that 5 fandoms entirely too much about, right?
Yeah.
So, what are they, if I'm asking? So, I know one is Dragon Ball, maybe.
Yeah, Dragon Ball, Twilight Zone.
Sitting
right by my Twilight Zone wall of artwork. Wonder Woman is another one. Let me see. Probably Disney. I don't know if people count that, but like even before I was in Disney, like any of those movie trivia, whatever things, like I can easily do Disney trivia in a way that a grown woman shouldn't be able to.
Like, what's the name of Ariel's sisters? Like, all.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they were pulling stuff from like Atlantis out of there. I'm like, what? People forget, like, Great Mouse Detective, stuff like that. People forget about those. Iconic. And then also I would group in there Nicktoons animation, or animation in general. I think a lot of times it doesn't get the respect it deserves as like some of the other shows, like say Doctor Who or whatever. But some of those quote unquote kids shows are iconic and made by really groundbreaking people that went on to be filmmakers. And those are my main ones, I would say. I definitely I talk about the MCU and I write about the MCU a lot. But I don't know if I follow, like, I don't read the comics as much. I used to be super into Spider-Gwen, but I've kind of like haven't watched much. And horror, I'm a big horror nerd. So yeah.
Now, you're Mexican and Iffy is African, right?
Yeah.
Now, is there added pressure in this industry because you are a person of color? Like, you feel like you don't want to let us down in a sense?
I think that we're in a weird position where it feels like anything we make has to have some type of social commentary to it. And we want to, but sometimes we just, I don't want to say it's that we want to forget about that, but it's like we're not the ones that need to hear it.
Right.
A lot of the, like our audience and the people who would watch because Iffy and I are both TV writers, and so we're both making shows right now, and it's like the people that watch our stuff, they're already aware of it. They're already living that life. They're already, having to deal with ICE, afraid of the cops, having, being targeted by their skin color. And so it's difficult at times that sometimes we're pushed to write those stories when we want to write fantasy stories. We want to write wizard stories. We want to, we don't always want that to be at the forefront of all of our conversations. It's like being invited on a diversity panel. I'm happy to do them, but the people in the room that choose to be at diversity panels, they're not the ones that need to hear that message.
Right.
You know? So it's kind of an interesting and difficult place that we're in, where it feels like we have to be the ones always having, and I'll get tagged in shit. Like, Danny, did you see this? And then I told people, please stop doing that. It'll be like, you know, this kid was murdered, and I'm like, you know, this brown kid or whatever. And I'm like, this is so traumatizing.
Right,
it's
right.
like, they do this to queer people as well. It's like, you know, this trans woman was murdered and they'll tag the trans people. And it's like, this is so jarring. Like, can you believe this? Yeah, we fucking can. We can believe it.
See it all the time.
And they're the ones that need to be doing the work. And I hate that it's so much pressure put on people of color to speak up constantly. It's like, sometimes we just want to tag team out of it. Sometimes you just want to tap out mentally and emotionally from the conversation.
Right. Now, we talk about a lot as a person of color and also being a geek, how it was growing up like that. Now, how was it growing up for you being a person of color and being into all this nerdy and geeky stuff? Like, were you picked on? Were you made fun of? Like, what happened as you were growing?
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, it was weird. It wasn't acceptable to like anime where I was, like, at all at my age. I mean, by the time I got super into it in middle school and high school. And like, then people were watching like The Hills.
Right,
and, or Jersey Shore, you know, or whatever. And it was like, this chick is like, you know, watching Dragon Ball Kai or whatever. And so that was kind of, I felt like I had to hide two elements of myself. I still to this day get people that challenge. I think that I'm into it. I think that also as a woman, my knowledge is constantly challenged about it. And so you're just treated as an other, like it's not your community, you know, like you're adjacent, you're on the outside, you're always treated as an outsider in your own community. And that was really frustrating for me when I started to come up, when I started to get all these hosting gigs. The comment section was horrendous. It was like, she's just on here because she's a woman, she's just on here because she's pretty, blah, blah. Oh, this chick again, this chick doesn't know anything. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm literally in your community. I was teased. Like, I spent hours in role-playing chat rooms with y'all, and now that
Dungeons and Dragons, bitch.
You guys, just because now I'm not like a geeky little kid in glasses and I have tits and an ass, and all of a sudden I'm not.
Just because I hit fucking puberty doesn't mean I don't like Dragon Ball.
Right.
Yeah. I literally have it tattooed on my body, like, and all of a sudden I'm not worthy anymore. But I can guarantee if I didn't look the way that I looked, I would still be. Sure, if I were a nerdy white guy, I would be considered a huge part of the, like, you know, I would just sit down and they're like, he knows about anime.
He knows everything.
You know, and it's just the way that I look. So
Right.
that was so difficult to have my own community. Then I really did start to question, like, maybe I don't really know about it. Maybe I don't really belong here, because this is the thing I know the most about. If I can't even prove to this community, then I'm fucked.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely dealt with that.
Now, being a woman in the industry and then the thirst traps that you kind of post sometimes, right? So now, don't you think that kind of blurs the lines where it's like, oh, you know, she's on this show because she's pretty. She might be looked at as a sex object, but it's like, yo, I really know my shit. Like, how do you, like, I guess, traverse through that bullshit and just be like, no, I got to prove myself?
Yeah, I mean, but I think that my work speaks for itself. You know, like, I wrote in this best-selling book called The Good Immigrant. Like, I have worked for Disney. I've hosted at the Oscars. You know, like, I can't, it's not my job to change the minds of those people. Like, you can exist as I also want to preface the thing about growing up as a person of color is that you're often taught to hate your body. Your body is not the default. It's not what's considered beautiful. And I dealt with that heavily. So much so that I developed an eating disorder because I had people that commented on my body so much.
Right.
Being called like thunder thighs. I had kids in middle school that called me Shrek because of my body. And I look back and I'm just thick, like, I'm just athletic, you know, and I have thick thighs, but like, it was so difficult being picked on. And so I ended up developing an eating disorder, did a lot of therapy to get out of that. And now I think that's why I try to post my body so much, because I really hated it for so many years. I would just cry about it. And now I'm like, I'm never going to be this young ever again. I want to enjoy it. And so, but yeah, I think my work speaks for itself. I think you can do both, and it's really frustrating, but I can't like care about those people, I guess, who comment on it. There's so many fine ass women who are like successful. I mean, I look at Issa Rae and it's just like, I know, but she's a genius. She's a genius and she's sexy as hell and she's funny and she's a terrific writer and she's sexy as hell. And it's like, you can be all of those things. And I would hate for her to hide her beauty because she thought that she needs to, you know, tone it down in some way to make people more comfortable. I think that she's showing that you can be all those things. Lizzo fucking clapping her cheeks all the time. She's like, you know, out there with her flute, showing off her. I mean, sometimes she's not even wearing underwear.
Just body
and she's
positive
talented
all across the board.
Yeah, most of the time she's not wearing underwear. She is talented as shit. Extremely creative and hustles harder than anyone that I know. Right. You know, so it's like you can be, and she's very sex positive. So it's like you can be all those things, and it's not my job to train people. You know, that's the thing is people are like, well, what did you expect? Because I have people that write me. I had a guy that I shared his message. He wrote me like, can I come on you? Like, I want to show you my dick.
Right.
And people are like, what did you expect? I'm like, you know, you can say.
It's that type of shit where it's like, he's done it because I don't know if it's worked at all, but like,
Nope, hasn't. Nope.
But then I'm saying, why try it? And then second, why try it on you?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And people are like, well, you posted this photo of you. One, I want to say, like, Emilia Clarke was naked for the first 3 seasons of Game of Thrones. It doesn't mean that you're going to. No, but legit, are you going to write her? Can I, like, you know, that means she wants to see my dick specifically. Right. It's like, no, she fucking doesn't. She was doing her job. I mean, granted, I don't know if she had to be naked in those scenes, but whatever. She was doing her job to get to where she was. And, yeah, so for me, though, it's like, there's a line. There's a line. I can look at photos, let's say of Tessa Thompson and be like, you're sexy. That doesn't mean I need to cross the line and say, I want to come on you. There's a difference in me saying, like, you're sexy, you're hot. You know, I'm happy that she's posting photos where she feels good about herself. There's a difference between that and thinking that I personally am entitled to her body. And I think that's the difference.
My boy Hesh was saying something. He was like, I want to do a series where women get these outrageous comments and respond to them positively. Like, yeah, sure. And just to see what happens. Yeah. Just to see like what happens with the guy, like if he responds in a certain way or just like just what happens. Just record it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, you know, I can honestly tell you that any man that has to desperately write women about coming on them is shit. They're not shit. Think about it. Because if you were, all the guys that I know that are good in bed, they don't fucking need to write anybody.
Yo, that's a wild opening line. Like, it is. Come on.
They don't need, I mean, they're good. Their work speaks for itself.
Their work speaks for itself. Laying this dick down.
You know, but yeah, if they're good at, like, if they're good in the bed, then they're just, you know, they're confident enough in themselves that they don't need to write women like that. And even men that aren't confident in themselves don't need to write women like that. That's not how you gain confidence.
Right.
So for me, I've dated the nerdiest fucking dudes because they were funny. They were creative. I was super attracted to their art, or I was super attracted to their comedy. They were nerdy and, you know, some of them scrawny or whatever, but I just liked that they made me laugh. And I think that's hard for men to grasp, for certain men to grasp that. No, we do actually like nice guys. We do actually like funny guys. But some of them aren't funny, you know, or some of them aren't nice. Some of them aren't nice.
Right.
So
now, how is it? Now, you said that you're in therapy. Now, how is it trying to keep your mental stability in an industry like this, where it's like male dominated? You know, you got these men saying these certain comments. You know, just how is it day to day? Just trying to keep yourself together.
Yeah, it's rough, man. Like, I've had to take breaks. I took like a whole month off when I did this thing on machinima, which doesn't even exist anymore, where I was like teaching them about kid you not, the comments were so bad. I was like, I need to take I told Iffy, like, I couldn't do our podcast for a month, which, you know, everyone's like, don't read the comments, which I don't do anymore. You know, this is when I was a little bit newer. But also, fucking Iffy would send them to me. He would
You see this shit?
Look at this shit.
Don't send this to me. And it gets in your head. So I took a month off. One year, I like mentally couldn't do it anymore. I mean, I would like cry in my bed. Like, it was just a mess. And then, you know, you get a tougher skin. You're like, you know, I don't care about you. I care about my employers. I care about the people that are hiring me. They're the ones paying me. They think I did a good job. But in therapy, it got to the point this last year, I was in therapy like twice a week. Like, I mean, I don't think people understand the level of like pressure and how difficult it is. You can actually be perfect. This will fuck with your head. You can have a perfect audition. You can literally have the casting director be like, that was perfect, or tell your agents you were perfect, and they still go with someone else.
Right.
It just, maybe that person was perfect, but they just they looked how they wanted them to look. Or, you know, I've had pitches where my producers were like, you were perfect, do not change a single thing. And they're like, if they don't want it, that's cool. We'll go to a different studio. But it fucks with your head. That part, you're so out of control of, it feels like you're so out of control of your destiny that it's just like my entire identity, like my fate is in the hands of other people. And I had to go to therapy because it just, that part fucked with my head. I had a really abusive dad, and that has taken, it's interesting. If you have a bad parent, the sheer number of years it takes to overcome that.
Right.
It's wild. I thought it would just be like a year, and it's been years. I mean, it just is, the trauma didn't happen overnight, so you can't undo it overnight. So it's taken me a long time, but I don't think I would be where I'm at without therapy. I'd probably be a mess. And I feel like I'm a really grounded person who's been able to gain a lot of success and talk about these issues while also being funny or also being creative.
Now, how do you cope with it all? Because I know you've been open about your depression and also the attempted suicide. Now, how do you make light of something so dark?
Yeah, I don't know. It to me, it has to be funny, or it's just sad.
Right.
Like, it's just like this sad thing that happened to me. And so it takes some of the power back. People don't always like when I joke about suicide or depression. And I'm joking about my own experiences with it. For me, it was like, I sucked at everything. I lost my identity. I was like spiraling, failure. My marriage was ending, all of this shit. I tried to kill myself, and then I couldn't even fucking do that right. That's really fucking funny. Like, someone up there thinks this is hilarious. That you wake up and you're like, are you kidding me?
Can't do shit right.
And so, yeah, so that to me is funny. I mean, but some people cannot joke about it, and people write me and they get really upset. They get really upset when I joke about my eating disorder. They get really upset when I joke about my attempted suicide, and I can't take that away from them. The only thing that I ask is that they don't try to veto my feelings. Our feelings can be equal. So how they feel, they've lost a brother to suicide, or they, you know, almost died from, like, whatever, their feelings can be equal to mine, but they can't be stronger than mine.
Right.
Because I'm like, no, I have my punch card. Like, I have my, you know, mental illness card. I'm a card carrying member of this community. I've done my time, meaning I can joke about it, about my own trauma the way I see fit. But, and you can say you don't agree, but you don't get to tell me how I'm allowed to cope with my own trauma. You don't get to veto how I feel.
Right.
And we try to do that a lot in the community, and I'm really tired of it. I try to be respectful. If I see people, one, I think it's funny. I think anytime someone can joke about their trauma, it takes so much work to live with your trauma, let alone joke about it. But, there was Beth Stelling, a great comedian, very funny. She was joking about she had a very open case where she came forward about her boyfriend, who was a writer, who hit her. And it was very brave of her. It was very difficult of her to out this guy who openly beat her. And she had a joke in her set, I think, about bruising like a peach, or it was way funnier than what I'm seeing now.
Right.
That to me is like, you know, she's moved on. I'm sure done therapy. She's done a lot of work. She's moved on, but she jokes about it because that's one of the ways that we cope with what happened to us, or else it's just something that happened to us. And that's too sad for me to think of. You know, it has to be some kind, like my rough childhood with my dad. It hurts to be in the victim mode. I have to take some of the power back from it. And comedy is a way for me to do that.
Okay. Now, have those thoughts subsided, or do they ever subside?
Yeah. I definitely think, you know, they're cyclical. And that's something I kind of feel like same thing that an addict deals with is knowing that those cravings will come back, those thoughts might come back. But now you have the coping skills, hopefully, to help you get through them. So as before, when I would spiral, I would talk in absolutes. I would say, like, it will never get better. Now I know that's not true. I don't know the future. I can't, everyone's doing better than me. Is that true? No. You know, I'll never find love. Is that true? No. Like, you know, I don't know the future. So I try to talk myself out of absolutes is one of my coping skills. I have a ton of them. I feel like my body is just a bunch of little like elves that whenever I'm smiling, they're like, oh, this bitch is depressed again. We better get to work. And I'm like, literally, that's literally what I feel my body is. They're like, oh, fuck. And so they're like just sending out their best men or whatever, you know, to like, and then like one of their first line of defense gets like knocked down and the next line of defense pops up. And so it's like all these coping skills that I've spent years trying to, you know, master, they all come into play because I do spiral. Definitely. I don't know anyone in comedy. I don't know anyone in life, but I don't know anyone in entertainment that doesn't spiral. It's such a, you know, when I look at our work, like, so One Day at a Time, my friend Gloria Calderon-Kellett, who's a showrunner for One Day at a Time, they were 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, had like 100,000 viewers and still got canceled. Damn. So that's what I mean is you can be like perfect and still have your livelihood taken from you. It's such a mind fuck. Luckily, they hopped on a different network, but that's just how brutal this industry is. And if you're not grounded, if you don't have coping skills, it can totally take you under. Cause it's like, what else can I do? How could I have been more perfect? You know? So yeah, so I think it's a necessary thing for a lot of people. Is
your dog one way that you cope with the industry? Is like, I can come home is just like, you know, fuck everything. I got Molly.
Yeah. Molly, she's hilarious. One, she's just really, she's like that bitch. Like she just like stares down people. She has the best side eye. I remember because I've had her for 12 years now. And I would come home drunk in college and she would just be like, seriously, bitch?
Like really again with the shit?
Really? Yeah. I was dating, I'll put loosely in quotes. I was seeing this writer, brought him home, and she straight up peed on the carpet. She was just like, and she never does that. She never, I know, she's potty trained. 12 years, she's fucking potty trained. She doesn't have accidents. She was just like, no.
Like, no.
So I love
not this one. Not this guy.
No, sorry. And or she'll snore. She is my biggest heckler. Like, I will be having sex and she'll just straight up be under the bed snoring, just heckling. Like, wow, this is the best y'all can do. Like, oh my God.
Hey, what's my name?
Exactly. And God, yeah. So I love Molly. She's so funny. She's just hilarious. She's one of the funniest people I know. She just doesn't give a shit. But she's by me. She's definitely like, oh God. Like I think when I'm crying, she's like, okay. Again.
There. Right? Want to go for a walk?
Yeah, exactly. She'll sit by me. Sometimes she'll let me like hold her paw. Sometimes I'll hold her paw when I'm crying. It's just really sweet. I've definitely been like crying in my bathtub and she'll come and sit on the mat next to me.
Okay.
She's great to have. She's great to just hold. And I think that it does something to our serotonin levels or dopamine when you're like I heard when you hold an animal or probably a baby or something. When you're holding another life force, it like helps you.
That's dope.
The chemicals in your brain.
That's dope. So Dani, what's next for you? What you got going on?
I am developing a couple of shows right now that hopefully I get to announce soon, not to jinx anything. I'm like half about like don't jinx it and another like no, manifest it.
Yeah.
So hopefully people will get to hear about that. I'm going to be at New York Comic Con, which is really cool. I think one of my panels is still not announced yet, but it's a really big panel. So I hope I get to announce that soon. And just constantly working, just constantly trying to create new shows, to be honest. I have so many stories that I want to tell, and I just want to get more of us work. That's my biggest dream, is like if one of my shows takes off, then I can hire a group of, diverse writers and have actors and like actually make the thing that I want to make.
Right.
And I think honestly, it's a really weird spot where, they are banking on more people of color, but they kind of want other places to take the risk first. You kind of need a couple of credits or like if we're talking about Issa, she had a built-in following. Right. So it's rough. Like, white guys don't have to have a built-in following to get their own show.
Right.
Or to be handed a franchise. My friends and I were talking about this. Sometimes they can just direct a small indie film and then they get handed a huge franchise. It's happened to several directors. And it's just like, we have to prove ourselves time and again.
Didn't I have a Blade 2? A Blade 3 or something like that? One of the directors, they just did some indie shit and just,
I think so.
The Blade franchise. Fucked it up.
We can carry this conversation off because I can't name some of the people I know, but then
I see these niggas.
And I still would love for them to cast me in their film, so I can't name them, but it has happened to many directors that it's just like they direct this tiny thing. But for us, all I want people to understand is like we are not offered those opportunities. We might direct the tiny thing, but we don't get even the coverage. If you think of like that was what Brie Larson, who with Captain Marvel was like, hey, I noticed that all of the journalists that you guys send me are white guys.
Right.
That was all she was saying is like, hey, I would love it if some of the journalists. So it's like we don't even get the coverage. We don't even get in the room to talk to those people. Yeah, or it's us covering. It'll be like a black publication that's covering black filmmakers, and that's great. But it's like, why aren't the white publications, the ones that are run by them, also covering the black filmmakers?
Go cover Luke Cage.
Yeah, but like, you know what I mean? It's like it's still separated too much, and we still have so much work. We're doing the work. People of color are doing the work. It's the people that consider themselves allies. They're allies until it's uncomfortable. Like, they're allies as long as it's still comfortable to them, as long as it doesn't threaten their job in any way, as long as, like they're allies to a point. And I'll have people write me privately, like, I support you. Oh my gosh, when I saw you taking down that guy, whatever, I support you. And I'm like, why don't you do that publicly?
Yeah.
But I have to put my job on the line to call this shit out, but you guys are unwilling to. That to me is a real ally, is someone that understands their privilege. They're not going to get fired for saying it. It's a lot of work. They got a lot of work to do. We just need to keep working. We need to keep working on telling our stories.
That's right.
It's hard for us to tell our stories and be fighting this fight and having to take on the full brunt of it. So hopefully that will change in the next like 5 years, but I still feel like it's a lot of what we call like wallpaper. Like it's a lot of, here's a brown face, but behind the scenes, it's not brown voices. They're not allowed.
Yeah. Fucking bastards.
And you feel that. You can tell that it's not genuine. And then they're like, well, it didn't sell with this brown face. You told us to. And it's like, yeah, but also you had him call the cops in this scene. That's not what he's not going to call. You know what I mean? Like, That doesn't make sense. He didn't even use seasoning when he was cooking. Like, what is it, you know, like you're not who are you making this for?
Ain't a bottle of Lawry's in that fucking scene. What's going on here?
It's like who are you making this story? You're just trying to check off the box, and you're not actually allowing us to take the. That's another thing is white filmmakers and storytellers are able to take they're given opportunity to take more risks. We have to be a sure bet.
Right.
Where it's really difficult for them to take a risk. And I'm dealing with that right now is like, well, your script is really funny. Your script is perfect.
But
what else do you have? Or how else can you? And it's like, that's so frustrating because you just said it was perfect. Why is that not good enough? You know, I showed you I can write, or I showed you, you know, I'm a storyteller. Here are the other things that I've done. Here are the other works I've done. You know, but like they want even more than that. And it's just, so it's a uphill battle, but we're making it.
Yeah, at some point they're gonna have no choice but to accept us and let us in. So, you know, I feel like that day is coming sooner than later, but you know, it's coming.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So where can everyone find you on the internet to post rude comments and such? You know.
I should be like, I'm at Iffy Waddy. I am at Ms. Dani Fernandez, MSDANIFERNANDEZ, on Twitter and Instagram. Nerdificent drops every Tuesday wherever you get your podcast. That's our fandom podcast. We have some cool episodes coming up tackling different and then we're going to go into Spooktober again, with October doing more horror, tackling more like spooky franchises. I think last year we did Buffy the Vampire Slayer and the Halloween franchise, which is actually really fascinating. So those are some of my things. And I'll be at New York Comic Con. So if you follow me, I will be announcing my panels hopefully in the next 2 weeks.
Yo, are we going to Comic Con?
The New York one?
Yes. Are we going to New York Comic Con or what? Tired of y'all bullshit.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, really.
Oh, fuck y'all.
I'm broke. What you want me to do, dog?
Save the fucking money. Let's go.
I like cheeseburgers too much.
Fat bitch. Dani, I want to thank you for coming to the dojo and chopping it up with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
No problem. Anything y'all want to say, fellas?
We good.
We good? All right, Dani, thank you.
All right, thanks.
You have a good day. Bye.
You too. Bye.
And that was our interview with Dani Fernandez. Shout out to her. Appreciate you for coming on the show, visiting the dojo.
Facts.
So, picks. What we got for picks?
Oh, me? Oh,
anybody?
No. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna say watch Invader Zim Into the Florpus. It's on Netflix and it's funny.
Yeah, what the fuck is this bullshit?
What?
Invader Zim. They have a new movie that just came out like Friday or some shit like that.
Oh yeah,
Into the Florpus. Yeah,
that was supposed to come out with the Rocko's Modern Life.
Yeah, Rocko's Modern Life is out too. But
yeah, I heard some shit about that.
Rocko's Modern Life. That was gonna be mine. You have to watch Rocko's Modern Life. It's all about
how the world changed.
Shut the fuck up. Change is gonna happen.
Yeah.
And when they say change happens, it happens.
Oh, you talking about Rachel?
Yeah, Rachel.
No. What about the big head son? What happened?
Rachel.
Okay.
So what's your pick?
King and Ashura.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, it's like Baki, but it's a little better because they get right into the fighting and it's little dialogue.
Yeah, he was like fighting nigga like in the opening scene, fighting some nigga in the alleyway. He was like, "Bitch!" Then he was like, "Hey, you want to fight?" He's like, "Hell no!" He's like, "All right, cool." And it walked off.
Yeah, that shit kind of lit.
Word.
It's on Netflix.
So can I get that bottle back? I made one bad joke. I made one relatively not great joke. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. I made one bad joke the whole day. I think I did pretty good this episode, if we're being honest.
Yeah, you did all right. All right, so we done?
Yeah.
I said funny shit, but not like crazy off the wall shit. Except for the last thing.
Okay.
But you know, it's building up.
So we done.
Yeah.
All right, so Ninja Vanish.
Yeah.
We out of here.
Gang gang.
Yo!